Hello, it's episode 121. I know that for a fact. I wrote it down. 121. Welcome, ProSynth Network live show. I look a bit glary. Let me just turn. It's bad enough you have to see my. There you go. It's because I've got the light coming in there. So remind me to turn the light back on as it gets darker during the evening. Welcome. Sorry, I'm rambling. It's going to be interesting. 10.5% this one. This is going to be a very interesting show. But anyway, welcome one and all. To the ProSynth Network live show. We are absolutely live. It is 2 minutes past 7 in the UK, 2 minutes past the hour, wherever you might be in the world. We won't go there. Welcome to the show. We've got a nice kind of relaxed, quiet one today. No guests, just myself and the lads. Let's just bring those buggers in. There we go, all in the house. Yeah, you weren't expecting that, were you?
No.
Yeah.
Got to put the porn away now.
It's this, okay? Expect the unexpected. Yeah. Welcome, gentlemen. Before we crack on and conflab, as they say, let me just get the general stuff out of the way. So, of course, you can follow us on all the social media channels, which are missing from my list of things. That's because I've chosen the wrong one. You see, it's the beer. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on
ketamine.
Yeah, I know. Instagram, Facebook, and of course YouTube. If you want to make a donation to the show, which we would absolutely love you to do, but you're not obliged to in any way. Don't ever accuse us of forcing you. But if you want to, it keeps us on the air. That's why we do it. It doesn't do anything else. Nobody's pension fund is getting lined, I can tell you that. But if you want to do it, you can do that through PayPal. Which is just there. There's the link. It's also in the description of the video below. You can donate at any time, any amount. It's all gratefully received. Of course, if you don't want to do that, you can also donate using the YouTube Super Chat and Super Stickers. If you're in the chat tonight, live. If you're watching this on Catch Up, there's a button underneath the video with a little heart next to it that says thanks, and it works in much the same way. So if you want to donate money, that's how you do it. You're not obliged to, but we love you if you do. Thank you ever so much for all previous donations and all future ones too.
And if you want to get something for your money as well, you can support us by buying the merchandise from Viper Graphics.
Indeed,
so
yes.
If you want a T-shirt or a polo or a hoodie, they're all available on there, and we get some of that money, so we put that to the show as well.
Indeed, yes.
Much appreciated.
Yeah. T-shirts are really nice. Hoodies are superb. They're really nicely made as well as very nicely printed. But yeah, ProSynth Network merch. And to get that, it's vipergraphics.co.uk. I really should do a banner for them, shouldn't I? If not, just go to our Facebook page and you'll find links on there. It's vipergraphics.co.uk. Now, I'll say this now, and I'll probably say it again in case he was or isn't in the chat now, and maybe will be in the chat later. But Brad from ISLA Instruments last week was asking about how to get a T-shirt, and I've got a proposal for Brad. If Brad's watching, we'll happily send you T-shirts if you send us an S2400 each. It's worth a punt, isn't it? It's worth a punt.
Yeah.
It's
a bit of a
But no, seriously, Brad. T-shirt for a 2400. No, seriously. If you want a T-shirt and you're in the US, I know that the shipping costs at the moment are quite high. We are looking at ways around that. It's not easy. What with Brexit and all that. Get in touch. Call me. Have your people call my people, and we'll sort something out. We'll do that. But talking of T-shirts, let me just get rid of this off the screen before we talk T-shirts. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, because that's what the kids say we should do.
Yes.
So like this video. You can like it right now. Do it now if you're watching. If you want to comment, we have the chat. Of course, if you're watching post live, you can comment underneath. But make sure you do subscribe and share this around. Talking of T-shirts, when was it? Was it? No, it was the day before yesterday. Sorry, it's day before yesterday. I met the one and the only Mr. Richard Hilton at a chic gig, and look, we've presented him with the only one in existence, a gold ProSynth Network T-shirt. Not only is it printed in gold, but on the back Ignore me losing my neck there, apparently, on the left. But this is Hilton's serial number 1. And I will guarantee that, I'll personally guarantee that will be serial number 1 and the only serial number 1 of the T-shirt, which he absolutely adored and was super grateful and super thankful. I haven't seen a picture of him wearing it yet, but that was taken at Sandown Race Park in Esher, Surrey, just on Wednesday, where Chic were playing, and they were absolutely magnificent. And Rich was a superstar, as always, and Niall was... Actually, the whole band are just brilliant. If you haven't seen them, go.
Well...
Although, you were supposed to, weren't you?
I was supposed to be going. I was going with Sasquatch, and I foolishly went out the night before and give myself a grade 11 hangover that lasted 3 days.
3 days, wow.
Yeah. I think Vicky has only just really recovered this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I should have done that. I should have taken a copy of Blade Runner, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you could put it under the leg of the piano, couldn't he? Balance it.
Oh, I tell you, Sasquatch is becoming a bit of a Chic groupie. I'm getting a little concerned there, because he seems to be turning up at like all their gigs. No, it's very cool. Now, I can completely understand why, because honestly, that set is just... Do you know, sometimes when you go to a gig and they'll play a set and maybe there's 1 or 2 songs that, you know, the energy drops a little bit because it's, you know, maybe the room's not feeling it or whatever. With this, it starts like at 10 and it stays there, and sometimes it goes all the way to 11. But it literally stays there till the very, very end. Even at the end, you know, it's just incredible. They're such a great band. They really are. So thoroughly recommended. Go and see them. Although I don't think they're in Swansea tonight and Scotland
tonight, Scotland tomorrow,
Scotland
London
tomorrow.
day after.
Yeah, and then they're off to Denmark, and then I think it's home time, isn't it? Before the Duran Duran gig.
Yeah.
So. I don't think Richard will be watching tonight, but I'm sure he'll be watching on catch up. Richard, it was an absolute honour to meet you. It was a pleasure to watch you and the band play, and thank you. And I hope you're enjoying your T-shirt pictures, please. And I reckon, I don't know about you guys, do you reckon we should do those gold shirts for very special people?
Yeah, I was thinking that, but like, what is the benchmark? Where's the bar?
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, it's Richard Hilton.
Yeah,
and that's a pretty high bar.
Yeah.
But I think we should, you know, like I would say, maybe we should send Manny one for everything he did for us last week.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and he's pretty much top of his game, isn't he, with the programming? So jeez, I reckon it's for people who we consider top of the game. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, we set the rules.
We've got the rights to do that for some reason.
Exactly. If we have this power, let's wield it. If anybody didn't watch Manny, he was on Yamaha Tech Talk, which is like a monthly thing that they do on Tuesday. You can go back onto the Yamaha Synths YouTube channel. And Manny's there with Harpe, who's the German guy. Harpe is kind of an abbreviation for Hans Peter, I think, but they call him Harpe. Okay. And the two of them were showing how they're programming on FMX, either on a Modi X or a Montage, and it's very clever stuff. And I've not had the pleasure of one of those synths at all, and I kind of really maybe I should. So yeah, that's on the cards. But yeah, go and watch that, because Manny's explanation of how all of these different things work, and it's very, very clever. Very good stuff. Talking of which, I guess we should also address the fact that we did that show last week, which I'm still like, my mind is like, because it was, I don't know about you, but I thought it was such a great show, with great people. And
what I liked about it went from, like, for me anyway, it went, but at a nice pace as well. It went from like not knowing anything about it at all to being quite knowledgeable about it in the end, even knowing how the architecture works and seeing that editor and that. I felt like I could have done a written test on it afterwards, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was 2 3/4 hours long, so it's not easy going. But as you said, the way it all kind of fell together. And I'm not going to take, Manny put most of that together.
Oh yeah.
He corralled Scott and Reinhold. He's got the VP one. He literally invaded his lounge and set up 2 workstations, one with and all the cameras. And his wife was, very, very accommodating. So thank you again, Mrs. Fernandez, for your support. But Manny did virtually all of the hard work on that. And what's really been a buzz for me is not only the show itself, but the show as it's been received. It's one of our fastest growing in terms of views videos ever. It's got a way to go to get to people like the Steve Picara show, which was I think is one of our top performing, and the Mick McNeils, but it ain't far off, and I think it will continue. And we put together an edit as well, didn't we, of just Scott's performances, so you could just listen to it if you want to, or you can then go back to the long form version. I've just been so blown away by the reception and the fact it's been shared around on Sonic State and Matrix Synth, and Yamaha is sharing it around themselves, and
that's great.
Yeah, and there's somebody, I think it might have been Andy, said on your thing last night, Kent, that if it lights a fire, somebody said, if it lights a fire under somebody at Yamaha, it might get this technology, going again. Yeah, fingers crossed.
That'd be lovely. That.
Yeah, or even if somebody else might get motivated.
Yeah,
Kent knows what I mean. If somebody else might get motivated, that would be interesting. But no, thank you to everyone that's watched that video, that shared it. Somebody said to me last night, "Oh, they're all talking about it on Gearspace." I'm like, "Whoa, we're on Gearspace," and it's at the moment. I haven't checked recently. It hasn't descended into some mudslinging match, as it tends to do.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks to everyone on Gearspace, and thanks to all the comments and the shares, and it's brilliant. And thank you, and we love you, and we're glad you enjoyed it, and we hopefully will do more of the same soon.
What would you do next? Yeah. What there isn't another VP one, is there?
There isn't. Well, there's not one of those, but I mean, there are plenty of synthesizers out there that not a lot of people know about or are familiar with in terms of what they can do and how they do what they do. Like, I know some people who've got synclaviers. I'd love to get a synclavier show, because I'm completely ignorant of synclaviers. I know what they do, but I've never seen one working. I've never used one. That would be great. I don't know. There must be. What do you think, Kent? Is there I mean, we could do a CS80 show, get a real kind of lowdown on something like that.
Yeah, well, I was going to play 2 CS80s live on the lawn.
You
today.
were? Where was that?
On the lawn.
It didn't happen in the end. I was going to do it as 3 CS80s. And bring out a 60, and I thought, do a whole CS thing. And I go, where's the CS30? It must be around somewhere, but I can't find it. And I was going to do it all, and then the guys turned up to finish the plastering in the kitchen, and then everything just collapsed into disarray. And I was just like, okay, all right, not today then. So maybe over the weekend. We'll see what happens.
That sounds like a great project, but I reckon that we need some drones for that, so we can fly them over while you're.
Good call.
You're doing the.
I'd love to. I really want to get a drone.
Rick Wakeman, whatever.
Well, the other thing,
it's got to be a cape involved.
Because I wanted to see if I can. One of the 80s, and I can set up so that its LFO is timed, and then get the beat step out from the garage somewhere. It's out there somewhere. Get the beat step out. And then get it to do like some rhythmic stuff, and then hopefully I think I can get it to change key and all that sort of thing, and then play the other 80. And then I thought, right, the BP330's around here somewhere, and just make up something and go, I don't know, so Vangelis stroke Toto kind of, Tangerine Dreamy kind of tribute thing or something like that. Yeah. Complete with all the dogs wandering around. No doubt.
Ambience.
Yeah, there'll be a little dog having a pee in the background or something like that. So like a normal festival. And and thought we might try that out and stuff like that. Get Fiona to run around the garden with the iPad.
I thought you were going to say naked for a minute.
Well, she might do, but you don't get to see that bit unless she gets the camera the wrong way round.
True. True.
And it's just lots of stuff going on. So, yeah. Anyway, yes, do something like that. No, I was thinking there's a lot of weirdy synths here that have gone right under the radar. Some people might not know about, but unfortunately they're not working either. That's why they're here. Like the Hohner Multimedia.
Yes, yeah.
Which is rare, I understand. So, and, Kraftwerk vocoder might get that working.
Oh, yeah, no, that would be good.
If we can get it working.
See, I'd do one on the Fairlight, but the problem is they're so flipping big. I couldn't get it all up here because then I'd have nowhere to move, and it's so noisy when it's running. So it would have to be something where I'd have to be able to set the mainframe up in maybe a different room, have a camera just on that to show things there, and then just have everything else. But then it's the problem of getting the screen on screen. There is a VGA output, but it's not like a standard thing. So. It's something think about.
Well, it's like Fiona said. She goes, why don't you have 4 CS80s? I said, well, because it's up here, and I've got to try and get that down the stairs.
No, don't bother with that one.
Wagyu actually mentioned it was rattling around my head. He said that Michael, who goes under the name of 100 Things I Do, who does occasionally show up, but he's in Australia, and that's a real odd time zone. So we'd either have to like pre-record that, which I don't like doing because I do like to have the ability for viewers to, I was going to say customers there, viewers to join in the chat. However, our friend Simon Alexander has a synclavier. And
he does, doesn't he?
He does. So maybe this is something. Maybe what we should do is set up something on the Facebook page and get people to suggest, and maybe have a poll and go from there. Another one that that Synth Addict has just said is DK Synergy. And I'm just trying to think.
I've got the samples.
Yeah. Well, there's a software version now, isn't there? It's a free. I think we covered it on the show. Synergia, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And it's a free open source thing. But I'm just trying to think who's got one of those. Oh, I know exactly who's got one of those. And he's coming on our show. Ben Edwards. There you go.
Yeah, but he's got like one of everything, hasn't he?
Well, he has. Maybe we should just do a complete deal with him.
We'll just record them all while he's on.
I'm sure he's got loads of better things to do.
Next couple of years.
Yeah, that's it. So, no to that.
Yes.
Oh, well, unless of course, Kent, you think you can make a Timber Wolf.
Sound good?
Yeah.
I believe it makes quite a nice sound when you hit it with a hammer.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
So we could, do some sort of like Cirque Soleil kind of performance with it.
Maybe that's what you should do. You should do a Timber Wolf sample pack, and then when people open it up, it's just the sound of you smashing the hell out of a Timber Wolf,
swearing in 7 different languages.
Exactly. Yeah. Paulie Alex Bow is in the house. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Loving your appearances on Sonic State over the last few weeks. It's really good to see you out there and doing your thing because you do it so well. So we'll have to get Paulie on this show.
Definitely.
They're incredibly busy at the moment because they're all over Sonic State. Damn you. No, massive thanks, of course, to Nick for completely out of the blue on Wednesday. I'm sat there at the race course waiting for Rich to turn up, and I thought, I'll just see what's on Sonic State. And he's talking about our show and the VP1 thing, and that was like, wow, we were featured on Sonic State.
It was suggested to me today to do a...
Tometer?
No.
No,
it was suggested to me today.
Is it Tometer Day today?
Tometer Day?
It was suggested to me today. No, suggested to me today that I should do a ProSynthNetwork.com choir song.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
But we'll have to bring it up to the 21st century.
Yeah, but there's too many syllables in ProSynth Network. It's not like Sonic State. It's one more syllable, isn't it? ProSynth Network.
Yeah, but they've got a lot better. They've got a lot better. I got some speaky, choiry sample
Maybe if you
libraries.
do it in some odd time signature, it might fit rhythmically.
Yeah, it might be able to.
Do it in 13/9. There you go. There's a challenge. We're rambling.
That's how I normally play.
Yeah, well, quite. Welcome again to the Pro Synth Network live show.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Where it's 3 old blokes, 4 dogs, and a drum machine chuntering along. By the way, I found this today, and I just thought it was incredibly relevant. How to understand Kent.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah.
I only picked up on this because of the burning the fingers on the
I love the kinetic disassembly thing.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, my favourite one is high impedance air gap. Right. Organic grounding, thermically reconfigured.
You haven't got 6 foot warranty on there.
No. Actually, do you know, Peter Vogel's got this brilliant T-shirt. It just says on the front, "I void warranties." Which I think is a really cool T-shirt. Maybe we should get some Pro Synth Network one. I don't think there's a copyright on that phrase, is there?
I don't know.
Soon find out.
Yeah, well, indeed. Yeah, absolutely.
It's one way of finding out.
Yeah. Don't forget, you can pick up your Pro Synth Network T-shirts. Vibergraphics.co.uk. Go for it.
This is a good, but before we move on, just this point from Lady Aptitude. A deep dive on many classic synths could be quite illuminating. Doesn't even have to be some super rare, obscure thing.
Yeah. Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be enough love for things like Synthux.
No, that's true. Yeah.
For instance.
Yeah.
Everybody goes, "Oh, that's the one that does the laser harp sound," and then that's it, isn't it? Everybody disregards it.
Yeah, it does more.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely food for thought. That we could
dig mine out of the garage and we'll do it. Yeah, we can do that.
There you go.
Brilliant. Right,
cool stuff. Should we do?
Up now.
Yeah, no. This is the beauty of having a show where we don't have any guests on. We can just talk. We can testiculate.
Yes,
we can testiculate at our leisure.
Now?
Yeah,
in front of everybody.
Well, yeah. I'm wearing nothing but this T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
You think I'm joking?
There's an image I'm gonna have to. Okay. Yeah,
it's my birthday.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I've got it now. Cool.
Birthday suit.
Yeah. What's
exactly.
That slapping noise?
Yeah.
He's clacking.
No. Yeah, it's just them hitting the floor.
Oh dear.
He's clacking.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Right, let's do some. There has been some news, and we've actually sort of held some over from last week because we didn't do any last week because we had better things to talk about. So we might be a little bit late on some of these, but hey, we don't care. The first thing is this lovely thing. Not my cup of tea, but I'm sure it will appeal to many people. It's from ST Modular, and it's called Euphoria. It's a DIY analog synthesizer. Unfortunately, the synthesizer is mostly black, and they've put it onto a black website, so it doesn't really stand out very well in the pictures. But it is coming soon. This is not available yet. It is coming soon. There is a video. I will show that in just a second. But basically, it's kind of like a West Coast. I hate using those terms, but it's a kind of a West Coast kind of a Buchla type-ish thing. So I mean, if you think Buchla easel. You're kind of some way there to it, but the thing is with this, it has been designed and is being sold completely as a build-it-yourself thing. So there are no prices at the moment, but I imagine it will be less than you expect it because you've got to put in the hours to put the thing together.
I think it's 600.
Oh right, okay.
I think probably dollars. That is.
Yeah. Well, there's the front panel. So it has a couple of oscillators. And a whole bunch of other sort of stuff that you would expect on a synthesizer of this ilk. So yeah, a primary oscillator is a SEM 3440 based VCO. The secondary oscillator is wave shaping tone generator. There are the sequencer with 2 sync sequencers, trigger and CV control, clock dividers, blah blah blah. Lots of really good stuff on here. But it is being sold completely as a build it yourself thing. Let's watch. Shall we? Let's watch the video, kids. If it works. Here we go. Let's turn the volume up. Sounds nice. we could watch the whole of that video, but it's about 15 minutes long, so we won't. But actually, that sounded quite nice. I mean, it's only a limited demo, but I mean, yeah.
Mike's muted. Sorry, I was saying it looks really nice as well.
It does, yeah, it does. It has
it's
an
like,
quality.
but if I built it, it's not going to look that nice. And if I buy it, do I get everything that's there? What I can see, do I get everything in there? Because I couldn't really make that out from the thing. It seemed as though I might just be getting the electronics and have to like house it in something myself, or because that actually looks really nice. It's got like gold-plated connectors on it, and the graphics and everything are really complementary to the pots they've used and everything. But I don't know whether that's like a show home version of it, to get everybody interested.
Yeah, I get you. 16 PCBs, 1,680 parts to be soldered or mounted. Oh, there you go, €600 estimated total cost per build. And Hours of Euphoria. You can download the manual and the bill of materials as well here. It's all in the zip file. I should have done that pre-show. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, €600 and however many hours it might take for you to put that thing together might be worth it in the end. Because, I mean, that doesn't look like half a bad synthesizer.
That's surface mount.
Is it surface mount?
Yeah, good luck.
Oh. Yes, yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
I wouldn't know what's involved in something like that. It might as well be.
Me either.
I've got a sculpted out of mud. It's like I can't see that working when I finished it. Really,
it's the sort
I
of
couldn't
thing
even get the computer on tonight. So
I'd buy that, and then I'd give it to Ken because
I'd put it in the bin.
No, thank you. But no, I mean, like I think I could solder okay. I just don't trust myself with something like with heat and electricity. No, it's not a good mix. But no, I kind of like that, and I certainly like the sound of it, and it sounded much more musical than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
But I guess everything does in the right hands, I suppose.
Yeah. It's just, you do need a certain set of tools to be able to do surface mount.
Oh right.
Over the more conventional tools that you'd use to do through hole.
Yeah.
It is certainly doable, but if you're a beginner or vaguely competent, you might run into trouble really quickly.
What about totally incompetent?
Well, flip of a coin, really.
This is what Wagyu says here is like that could be a thing. Where you'll get people that say, "Oh yeah, I can do that, no problem at all."
Yeah, I was going to say it's surprising that there's not an option to buy it pre-built, because it is literally the case. Why hasn't he teamed up with somebody else who builds them? Because there's not going to be thousands of them ordered, is there? You've got to be lucky to get a few hundred, I suppose, but. Somebody else makes them. They get the money for assembling it. He still sells it, and like people like me who can't, have got no chance of making it.
Yeah,
probably have to pay the extra.
I wouldn't want to be the member of that company that is running the support department.
Or something like that. You don't have a support department, do you?
Well, no,
apart
you probably. Yeah, I mean, hello, you're through to, oh dear, I screwed it, what do I do now? Department.
Buy another board.
Yeah. So,
yes. Yeah. But, I mean, it's there. I'm sure that some brilliant people will buy that and put it together. And, people like Robin Vincent, who are quite happy to do all of that kind of stuff and do it pretty well. And he'll make a whole, show or a series of shows about putting one of those together, I'm sure.
That'd be worth watching as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they might as well do ready-built ones, because the amount of money that you end up having to pay somebody to do it for you, once that's added on, they might as well just build them themselves, stick them in a packet and ship them over.
Apparently Pusherman in the UK sell pre-built ST modular modules, but this isn't on their site as yet, but maybe it will be.
Yeah, it might become a thing.
It might become a thing, and then you probably look at maybe double that price for the hours.
No, technically, it's down to the tech to find a way of doing it really quickly and efficiently anyway. So it doesn't. No, it wouldn't have to be that much, but the first couple probably will be, and then will take a while as the tech gets used to doing it.
Yeah.
So,
but nevertheless, a very interesting thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing who buys them and who builds them and what they actually kind of sound like in people's hands. But a very nice thing from ST.
It sounds
Modular.
nice though.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Good stuff. Right, let's move on to the next thing. So, a couple of Oberheim-related things. One of them more directly than the other. But the first one is Aly Jams Lab, who has built up a reputation of some really, really good plugins that are exceptionally close to the things that they're based on, and sold at a very, very fair price as well. He's literally a one-man band. It's just him. And so a lot of his stuff does take a bit of a while to come out. But this is basically out now. It's OB-Xtreme2, which is his take on an OBX. And it sounds really, really good. I mean, let's have a listen to this. Oh, got a bit far there. Here we go. Oh, do you know, I've actually got the video on a separate screen, but hey, we'll do this from here. There we go. Oh, something's happened there. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, it's something went a bit hairy. But listen, I mean, that actually sounds rather flipping good.
It does,
don't you think? I mean, it sounds like an Oberheim, which is obviously a good thing. But yeah. An echo.
Testing the speakers on Streamyard. Sounds like they're working.
Who's testing the speakers on Streamyard?
Have a great show.
What could you hear that then?
Always configuring.
Turn your echo thing off.
Oh, has it come back on?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Boom, shaka, laka.
It's like a dub thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why, man. Yeah.
So, what?
Who?
I can hear you me twice.
Right, hang on. Sorry about this.
This is a bit like my.
I'm the one on 10.5%.
There we go. There we go.
That's better.
Right.
It's a bit like my mini Moog last night.
Oh God, yeah. That was scary. So anyway, yeah. So this is available now, and it's a mere €45, and I think it sounds way more expensive than that. I think that's a bit of a bargain. It's version 2.0. The previous version was only 32-bit. This is now fully 64-bit, and comes with a whole bunch of features emulating OBXs, OBXAs, and so on and so forth. The one thing that Aly does is really model the circuits very, very well. I have his Lindrum, and it is by far and away better than any other Lindrum emulation, which is mostly sample based. What he's done is he's literally modelled every single chip and put it in, and you can also use chips from other ROM chips from other drum machines, which you can download online, and use those in that Lindrum package. He does some amazing work. So I'm not at all surprised that this sounds as good as it does. And there is a glut. There is a glut of Oberheim soft synths out there. You know, there's OB-XD, which is a free thing, or €49 if you want to use it commercially. That's just been updated to 2.9. You've got Arturia. Who else is doing? Of course, there's all the sample-based stuff from UVI. We're not sure, and of course, we've got the SEM stuff. Yep, the SEM stuff from GeForce and the 8 voice.
There's the OPX as well. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah, Sonic Projects.
I bought that. Yeah, I bought that.
Yeah, that seems quite good. So it's not like we're sport for choice, but at €45. I mean, that's pretty damn good. It's available for PC and Mac, and it's all 64-bit. I think that's really, really good.
I like how much he believes in the product by doing the demo dry and up close and personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they do a demo and they'll hide it behind a shitload of fakes and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And it came across, it was really, really nice. I liked it.
He's also a really good player as well.
Mm.
Yeah,
so
his demonstrations are dead laid back as well, aren't they?
Yeah, he's very funky guy.
Yeah.
I'll hold my hands up. I don't know if Aly watches the show. If you do, hello, welcome, and we like your stuff. But I have to say, that my first encounter with him, I hadn't really heard of him, but somebody had sent me a link to something on his website that said he was doing a plug-in version of the Fairlight. So that's why they'd sent me the link.
Yeah.
And that was a few years ago. And I was really interested, but very sceptical about how he was going to try and get a realistic, authentic Fairlight sound, because there isn't anything that does that, because there just isn't. So he promised it and it never came, and it's always still been coming soon on the website. And I got a bit kind of skeptical about somebody who tells the world we're going to do this thing, and then 3 years later it's still not a thing. However, when I bought VPROM, which is the Lindrum emulation, and I've heard this, I'm actually thinking he might actually be onto something if he's taking his time and doing it. He is literally just a one-man band. It might be onto something there, but I really like that. I really do.
Yeah, it sounds really, really good to me. The only problem I think with it, what put me off buying it, and it's not a reflection. It's not like that I don't trust him or anything. It's like we have like a kind of like an instant society now where you want instant gratification on everything.
Yeah.
And I pressed the buy button and it said, "Yep, send us your money, and then within 3 days we'll send you a link so you can download the software." And it was like, you need to fix that, because it put a lot of people off that.
Yeah, this is to do with the fact that he is literally on his own doing this.
Yeah.
And I bought VPROM on that. It had that thing, we'll send it to you within like 72 hours or something. It came through about an hour later.
Yeah.
So it's
that's
fine. But he's
worst
covering
case scenario, isn't it? 3 days.
Yeah, it's a CYA exercise, and fair play to him. But maybe he should investigate a more rapid. But then that costs money. You see, if you want to use a delivery service, it costs money to do that. And he's just literally a one-man band, and he's selling this stuff at €45. There can't be a margin in there. I don't know what his day job is, because I doubt it's this. He's probably doing this in his spare time. So,
well, I mean, with the greatest respect, and I don't know the guy. So, but generally speaking, creatives and engineers normally don't make good organisational businessmen.
Exactly. Look at all the major manufacturers for the last 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, I got stuff booked into KSR. I don't know what they are or when they're coming in. That's all Fiona sort of. Yeah, I'm not interested. Thank you. Just tell me. Just point out what I've got to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, and we don't, as a rule, don't. So, but if that's a one-man band, I mean, he's got so many hats that he has to wear.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but he's coming out with some good stuff.
Yeah,
certainly doing that.
The thing is, I've got the Arturia Oberheim, I've got the GeForce stuff, I've got OB-XD. I think I've got something else. Oh yeah, I've got the UVI stuff, and yet I'm still thinking about buying this. Now I don't know whether that's just my Pokemon got to have them all type thing, or whether it's because this actually really does sound very nice.
Yeah. Well, if it was £100 more, you wouldn't.
Exactly, but because it is what it is, you think,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's why I ended up with so much Spitfire audio stuff.
Well, yes, that's the one thing I'm actually very good. I'm surprised. I'm very good at not picking up all that 29 stuff, because the thing is, you'll buy one, and then you'll buy another, and then all of a sudden you've actually spent £400-500 quid.
Yeah,
because you want them all.
Yeah,
they're
exactly
all very good.
Yeah.
But if you want to get that, it's AlyJamsLab.com. Let me just share that screen again. Aly does some really, really great work, and if that doesn't float your boat, I'm sure there will be other stuff on his website that does. Because say if you want a Lindrum, the most accurate Lindrum is his V-Prom instrument. It's because it is actual circuit modelling of the hardware and the EPROMs, and you can then drop other EPROMs into that, and it has the that thing with the hi-hat where it's cycling, and it has that little gap before the snare, which gave it that little kind of edge, that groove.
Yeah,
all of that's there, whereas you don't get that with samples. If you listen to a Lindrum snare sample, it's starts at position 0, and that's just not authentic.
Well, I think before I knew about that snare drum, I went through and truncated all of my samples, so I had to cut it off the beginning anyway.
well, yeah, but now, here you don't have to do that, because it's just so well done, and it really does give you that feel of a Lindrum.
2732 EPROMs, bane of my bloody life.
He's also the VSDSX, which is his Simmons. I don't have this. I know people who do and absolutely love it.
I need this.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And for what I've heard, it's great as well. There's some
are
chiptune
they all priced around the same?
VSDSX is
there a demo?
€45.
Superb. I couldn't find a demo for the OB-Xtreme.
No, I don't think there are demos. Again, this is kind of a limitation, I guess, of somebody who is doing it on a sort of a tight budget. There's also, he does a claptrap as well, and OB-Xtreme, and then hopefully soon. It's not available yet, but he has been sort of sharing stuff around of this Fairlight called Samplite, he's called it. Sounds great, looks great, and it's a great.
It's amazing. Well. I love these like one-man band things as well. I remember in the old computer days, you used to have like one person who'd just make a game on their own, and they'd do the music and everything. Like Archie McLean's Pool and stuff like that. It's like,
I remember that.
Yeah, so I've got loads of admiration for these people, because every aspect of it is done well, isn't it? The graphical interface is done really well. I don't know whether he's hiring people in for that part of it, or he's just multi-talented and can de-engineer something, if that's a word, into software form and realise that, and then he's got the ability to know that it sounds right as well, which is his musician side, and he is a good musician as well, like we said before. He's just a very talented chap.
Yeah, hate people like that.
Yeah.
No, I do. I love them. They do some great stuff, and this stuff isn't sample based, which I think makes it a bit more authentic.
I'd love to throw a bucket of money at some of these people and say, "Can you go and software engineer the anaglyph for me, so I don't have to build it?" Because it's about the only way it's going to get done. Let's face it.
You never know. Anyway, there you go. AlyJamesLab.com. AlyJamesLab.com. And you can find the Oberheim and, of course, all the other stuff that we've just waxed lyrical about all over there. And I think can we just say a big thank you to Sasquatch in the chat room, who is moderating his backside off. Not that he has to do much, because you're all very well behaved, but he's also posting links to all the products and all the things that we're talking about. So thank you very much for doing that, sir. It's greatly appreciated. And after the show, once I'm sober enough tomorrow, which might be around tea time, I don't know, I will put all the links in the description underneath the video, because that's what we do. Manny's in the house. We've got to talk nice about him now.
Oh.
My tooth
Welcome,
hurts, Manny.
Yeah, it must be lunchtime. Yeah, I've got some toothache. Oh. Can you imagine getting dental work from... You'd just be like, you want to talk to him about programming algorithms and operators and carriers, and all he wants to do is drill the crap out of you.
Yeah, he'd be swallowing drill bits all the time.
Yeah, he'll be sampling it.
Yeah. Could you recreate that drill sound with an FM?
I bet you could. It's that kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Atonal, all those harmonics and inharmonics.
Yeah. And the screaming.
And the screaming and the blood. No, that's
that's something different. No,
absolutely. Welcome, Manny. Thank you. I don't know if you watch it on catch up, but thank you again for last week, because you put so much into that for us, and we're so grateful. Some appointments are more synth talk than dental care. Yeah. There you go. You see. Anyway, right, that was Aly Jams Lab and the I forget the product. What's the product name of that thing again? It was like an Oberheim OB-Xtreme.
OB-Xtreme.
OB-Xtreme2.
Yeah. Oh, two. Yeah.
Two.
Yeah.
Mustn't forget that. Andrew Longhurst is in the chat room. Evening, sir. We were talking just before we came on the show, trying to get another guest on, get some really good names coming up. Welcome, sir. Right, what should we do next? Oh, yeah, this was interesting, and I guess it's mostly aimed at guitarists to start with, but I wonder how this might work for synthesists. Not that we have, as synthesizer players, whether we play live or in the studio, we don't tend to have amplification rigs, do we? Don't have like a suite of pedals and amplifiers and all that kind of stuff. We might have some things, but basically, IK Multimedia have announced this new thing called AI machine modeling. And in its simplest form, what this technology, they claim, which isn't out yet, but it's coming soon, you basically set up your rig as a guitarist. So you might have a pedal board going into like an amplifier, going through some speaker cabs or whatever. You have this thing, you'll have your rig. All guitarists will know what I'm talking about. And you play this specific audio file from your computer into your rig, and then out of your rig back into your computer. So basically you're playing like a thing that the software is expecting, and it can take the output from your rig as modified by all of your effects pedals and head units and cabs and all this kind of stuff, and then it can take that and then create a model, an artificially intelligently created model of your guitar rig. Other rigs are available, so that you can then take that and use it in, I guess, Amplitude, which is their modeling, guitar amp modeling software. And then you've got a model of your rig, your own personal rig. So you don't even have to go out and buy the kind of modelled components or equivalents of the modelled components. And Amplitude is stacked full of those. But if you've got a very special rig that you love, you can basically model it and take it out with you on a laptop. And I think that's a bit flipping clever.
It's very clever.
I'd love to know how they do that. I mean, the website is chock full of demonstrations and explanations. It did all get a bit technical, but
yeah, I thought that at one point, now I might be making myself look stupid here, but I thought at one point that they fed an affected signal into the software. Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
and a dry one, and then it was the same riff. So say you played like "Smoke on the Water" dry, Yeah, and then you played it with the right effects on it,
Yeah.
that it would then create a model that would let you have that smoke on the water sound. Now,
So, yeah.
now that is brilliant if you want to rip off sounds off records, I suppose, because as long as you've got the same guitar, so if you know something's a Gibson SG and you've got a Gibson SG, you can play the intro off the recording into it and then play it yourself, and you should end up with an exact replica-ish of the sound. But I might be totally misunderstanding the concept.
According to the process here, it says send this specifically prepared guitar capture file through your rig. So the way I understand it is they've got something being played.
File.
Yeah, it's a reference file that the software understands what it is dry, and then you play that through your rig, and it comes out, and you play that the output of your rig into the computer, and the software analyzes the dry and the process tracks, and so they've provided the dry track, you provide them with the process track, and then apparently the neural network, because that's the buzzword of today, creates a tone model and precisely tunes it to your rig using deep machine learning. Now, I guess that you are going to need an internet connection, because these things do tend to happen off-site in the cloud, although it doesn't say here. It just says a modern computer with GPU processing is ideal, then an audio interface and a microphone to record your cabinet. But bottom line is, it's basically saying...
It's got to be like you say. Sorry.
Yeah, but they're just basically saying, we're going to record the output of your rig, compare it to the dry thing, and then use this clever technology to kind of work out how it got from dry to wet.
Yeah,
and then recreate it. But some people in the chat are saying, "Oh, isn't this just maybe impulse response thing?" And it could be, but unfortunately, we don't really sort of have huge amounts of information on it. But
so you wouldn't be able to do your smoke on the water then?
Well, no, you should. You'll be able to do your smoke on, but what you're capturing is your rig or somebody's rig.
Yeah.
So if you imagine a guitarist has, a big old pedal board and some cabs and some amplifiers and whatever, and they love that, that gives them the old smoke on the water tone from their guitar.
Okay. It's just that the way I was seeing it is that you have this, like, if you like this control group of a file that the software knows that you play through the system.
Yeah.
So it just works out what the differences are from what it expected.
Yeah.
And then work out all the various frequencies from there, and then be able to apply that.
Yeah. I wonder how sensitive it is, because you imagine like as you know, as we all know, like distortions and harmonics are what give things the particular sound. Like, and would it go down to the level of, say, like a Neve preamp or something like that? Could you put that through and then walk away with your Neve preamp sound? Because you're capturing all those little nuances in that set, but it's on a much less scale, isn't it? It's hardly anything there.
I want to see it. I want to see it in action. I want to try it. I mean, I don't have a guitar rig, not the software, but I don't have amp. Well, actually, no, I do have an amplifier in the garage, but I don't have anything I could really test it on. Which is why I thought, how might this sound if you captured your synthesizer rig? Because I know there are plenty of people that use effects pedals and different combinations of sound processing and manipulation. They feed their stuff into that. So could you then recreate that in software? I'm sure. But then you'd have to have a reference file of a synthesizer playing, wouldn't you, rather than a guitar? So I guess the software has to be tuned to...
It depends what the reference file is. It might not be a guitar, mightn't it? What you send to the amp might just be a noise...
But it really depends on whether the software can work with any reference file or whether it has to work with the one you supply. Because that file you play into the computer, but you also play it through your rig, and it works out the difference between the two.
Yeah. So maybe you could do
If
it.
you can do it with two, with different, you put your own reference file in and then play it through whatever, and then it works out the differences between them, then
Yeah.
then
But I'll
it's
tell you what,
much more useful.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're starting with guitars, but this could broaden out and be as something a bit more. I mean, I know that IK Multimedia and Amplitude are very well regarded in the guitar, the software effects and community for guitarists. It's a very popular thing. But I just thought this was dead clever and interesting, and it might be a sign of the future that modelling now is just like this is what my stuff sounds like. Make it, and then it does it, and then you've got it in a software form, and you can. Then all you've got to do when you go out gigging is take your laptop and a fairly neutral sort of cabinet, and there you go. You've got your sound.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking with Eddie last night, weren't we, on your show, Kent? And he was talking about the fact that he's got this band that we were trying to convince him to leave. And one of the problems with the band is that they play very small venues and have very small stages, and so therefore can't have a whole bunch of equipment. This could be the solution to something like that. If you are playing in a band where the venues you play at don't have a lot of room, you can't take that fantastic rig that you've got set up in your basement or something. You want to model it and take it with you because it's your very specific thing. This is it. This is the thing that could help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting start of something. This, I think it. I mean, we were joking, like saying, like, where did we see the far distant future of synthesis, and like it's like almost like using the color picker on Photoshop. You can pick a color out. Imagine like looking at like some sort of spectrograph of a piece of music, clicking on the synth, and then the AI knows what kind of synth it is, boots up the emulation of that synth, and gets you ballpark near it. That'd be great. And this is kind of the very early stages of this kind of thing, isn't it? It's got that's the way it's got to go, surely, because distant future is. We could never imagine the things that we have now in the 90s even. So like distant future, it's going to be crazy. You just it's just going to be able to get a song and just drag all the sounds out into your gear and you're off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was always the thing about tomorrow as well, was everything's getting smaller. Everything can be put in your pocket. Everything can just be stuck on a computer, and there you go. And it's kind of that way, isn't it? I mean, those of us that rage against the machine, we still have all of this stuff as we can see around us. But nowadays, I could literally pick up my MacBook and recreate pretty much everything that's here, and just have to plug a controller in.
Depressing, isn't it?
It is. It's quite sad.
Oh, really?
I do a lot of work just in the computer now.
Yeah.
Because
it's easy.
It's quick.
It's so easy to do. Yeah. And I mean, I've done that with things like hang on, waiter service.
It's your birthday.
Thank you. More beer.
What's
this
go.
one? This one.
That's not 10% as well, is it?
Would
just be a pair of boots sticking up at the end of the show.
No, this isn't 10%. It's 10.5.
It's.
I've got a case of Belgian beer, and they're all like really, really strong.
I couldn't drink now.
Didn't bring last one.
Chance.
I love a good. See, I've even got my Belgian beer glass. You see.
Oh.
Yeah. So what was I saying? So when I do certain things, that's a bit frothy. When I do certain things in, hang on a minute. Can somebody close the door? We got cats that want to escape, and I got my window open because it's so bloody hot. So yes, when I'm writing stuff, I don't turn all of this stuff on. If I want an FM thing, a DX7 thing, I'll use a plugin. And then once I've sorted it all out, then I'll start routing that MIDI into the hardware. But what's the point of firing up all this stuff and generating loads of heat and wearing out things when I can just do it in software? So That's where I think we were going.
Yeah.
Lovely Simon Forsyth in the chat room. Basically a pint of heroin. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably not far wrong there.
Yes, again.
I'm conscious of the cats escaping through my window, because if they go through there, it's quite a long way down.
Yeah.
And they do like to get out of an evening. Just bear with. I'm going to have to turn my camera off,
It's all right.
because you don't want to see me in me.
Oh, yeah,
what's
you've got
it?
nothing on underneath the desk, have you? Below the desk?
That's what they say. That's the rumour.
Hey. Yeah. So when's this CS80 marathon happening, Ken? I'm quite intrigued about this.
Well, possibly tomorrow. Almost certainly Sunday.
Fantastic. I've got
Look
to watch
forward
that
to
one.
that.
It's just that,
Yeah.
moving 3 CS80s out onto a lawn and setting it all up, it's like, I'll do it tomorrow. Kind of vibe I'm getting from it at the moment. But yeah, no, I'll have to do it. And then I'll go around the garage and get some various bits and pieces to enhance the experience. I think that's
How
the
does
word.
one enhance a CS80 experience?
Long tail reverb.
Well, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
So it's one of them. Got to get down there, a few other bits and pieces, and just get it up and kicking, and get some rhythm down there as well.
Lovely. Can't wait for that one. It's going to be
Yeah.
good.
Andy says, "Are you mad? I've moved back to hardware." Yeah, well, I have. I mean, honestly, if I showed you a picture of my studio like 3 years ago, there was 2 keyboards in here, and now I can't bloody move.
I've never treated them as mutually exclusive.
No.
I've got as much software as I have hardware.
Oh God, yeah.
Actually, I've got more software than I've got hardware.
But I have the luxury now of just being able to sit here with a controller and say, "Oh, I just want that sound." So instead of getting up, turning it on, making sure I've got it routed through everything, patching it all in, and then I can just go call up the software. Right, I can do what I want to do, and get ballpark in terms of that sound. And then once I'm happy with everything, then I can then set everything up and then record.
Yeah.
Not that I do much of that anyway, but
It's just so. It's things like searches and stuff like that when you're looking for a starting point for a sound. Sometimes it's just quicker when you need to get something down fast. It's quicker to bang in the search. I want an analog bass. Well, that's not quite right. I'll just tweak that a little bit. That'll do. And you're off. But like with hardware, it's still it's probably better end results, but it'll take longer getting there, I think.
Oh, for
At
me,
the
it's the
end
other
of-
way round. Because I get
Yeah.
choice paralysis
yeah.
when I'm on the
right,
computer.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
this bass, there's probably a better one. I'll just try this one. There's probably a better
Yeah.
one. You don't get anything
Yeah.
done. You just go through presets all your life.
The bottom line
Yeah,
is
that's me.
hardware or software, whatever gets you where you want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I find that if I restrict what's presented in front of me, I'll get more stuff done quicker.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, some of the what it is with like the Arturia like emulations, say for instance, I love them. I've got the V collection, but for me they're a little bit less than say like the UVI samples. The UVI samples of stuff sound much more full-bodied, and there's a lot of like movement in the sounds and for samples, which is unusual, but they use all these like round robin techniques and everything, don't they? And you can't really tell that the samples. And when you play like a real analog synth, you get like, when you're really analysing the sound, you get like really into the way that the filter like you know decays and the little fuzzy things that you can hear in it and that. But then when you put it in a mix, it all gets lost. All these like beautiful things that you could hear in the sound in isolation. It's very difficult to keep that once it's mixed in, even with the bass drum. I'll take a load away from it. So what I'm trying to say is, like, even though I feel as though maybe the Arturia stuff is less than what the actual hardware is, when you put it all together in a composition, the overall effect is probably very similar, because you're losing a lot of those subtleties once it all gets shoved together in a big mushy pie like I usually make, you know.
Mushy pie. Everything's a mushy pie up north, isn't it?
Lovely.
Aye.
But there you go. What were we talking? We were talking about the amp modelling, weren't we? AI. Yeah, we kind of went off on one there, but that's kind of what we do. AI machine modelling is what it's called. Go to ikmultimedia.com to learn more about that, and it will be coming soon, and hopefully we'll be able to get our mitts on a copy of that. And I do. You possess a guitar, Ken. I possess a guitar. Do you have a guitar?
Do I?
I've got a couple somewhere.
Yeah. So maybe that's something. The thing is, I don't have a huge amount of, if any, guitar effects. But,
I've got no guitar skill.
That's only there to make me look windswept and interesting.
Balance, isn't it? Yeah.
That's all it's for. Yeah.
It's balance for balance. Anyway, there you go. So ikmultimedia.com for that. This next thing is interesting, because we've talked about controllers recently, like the that mini Moog controller, the Kickstarter thing, and like building controllers for synthesizers. Well, this is building a synthesizer of your own design, which is quite an interesting concept. So this is from Synthux Academy. I'm just going to play the video for you first, because that probably make a better fist of describing exactly what this concept's all about. So let's have a watch of this.
Imagine you could design your own synthesizer. Choose your oscillators, LFOs, filters. Pick the positions of each of these modules, the size of the knobs, the sound and the range of each of these knobs. Hi, I'm Ryle from Synthux Academy, and this is the Simple Synth Design Program. This is an educational program that was designed for musicians to level up and build technical skill. So you'll be able to synthesize your own sound, program it, and prototype, design your own instruments. You know, this itch that you have an idea, but then something is holding you back because you don't really know the technical skill to be able to express yourself. This could be so frustrating. As a musician, I know, and for the past decade, I've been teaching in different academies around the world, some of the best ones,
again, haven't I?
and talking to dozens of people in the Synth Design podcast. I've learned so many things that I decided we could actually put it into a program that will give you the fundamental skills, so you'll be able to create your own synthesizers and effect boxes.
So without getting sort of like into the whole weeds of this, essentially this is it's a synth design kit, but it involves software as well as hardware, and I've just banged my funny bone, and it really wasn't very funny. So different kinds of kits that you can buy, and you can essentially build your own kit and program it, and a lot of it's in software. Let me just bring this back onto the screen. There we go. No, wrong window. Let's choose the right window for a change.
It's good stuff, that 10.5% lager, isn't it?
It's fantastic. Yeah,
Smell it from here.
it is. It's got a bit of a kick on it. I've lost it now. There we go. Simple. There it is. There we go. We're covering up very well. The simple board is modular. You can place knob switches and jack sockets anywhere you like. Create the perfect interface for your instrument. So this is basically the interface that you're building in hardware, but then everything else is kind of done in software. But it's a really kind of clever concept, and I just wonder, you can build all sorts of different, looking boxes with, your own sort of thing going on. And there's different kits. So there's the brainless kit, there's the packed kit.
Simply brainless. I'll have that one.
Yeah. So you get the PCB board, you get a whole bunch of knobs and switches and sockets and potentiometers. And then you get this board here, which is the Daisy Seed microcontroller. That's where you do all of your clever stuff. So really the hardware is literally just a controller.
Yeah.
The synth is in software. Thoughts?
Kent?
Yeah, Kent, I was going to say, does this appeal to your anaglyph thing in any way?
Well, no, because it's not polyphonic.
Okay.
But I can see this being incredibly useful for doing R&D. It'd certainly be a much cheaper way of doing R&D. Because you've got more of an idea of how well it will work kind of before you've reached a stage when you've got to reach into your pocket and start buying lots of parts. So, yeah, I think it's quite... I mean, but that's probably where it comes from, that, teaching tool aspect of it is probably what helped that. Yeah, I think this could be very, very interesting indeed. There's going to be people out there who's going to run with this in ways that we haven't thought of.
Because
a lot of synths now are basically software with a control surface front end, isn't it? So the sky's the limit with this. Once you get going, you could do anything you want with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, we were talking about the other thing where you could you're building it yourself. The I forget the name of it now. The ST Modular.
Yeah.
So that's complete hardware. It's full on hardware. Whereas this is a little bit hardware just for your control surface, but this is for the software guys. This is for the people that can code. And I guess that the whole point of this is that they make that coding more accessible, more simple, and more effective. So really, it's kind of something for everyone, I think, is the moral of that tale.
Yeah. It's interesting getting people started on that track, because you might be like, say, messing with keyboards but not really finding your feet with it. Yeah. And your particular skills lie down another avenue, like with something like this, because some of the best developers weren't necessarily the best keyboard players, were they? So getting people involved in it could bring like loads of new ideas out that you just can't imagine yet.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I mean, it's not just, a lot of DIY synth kits are, here's a PCB, put your components in this particular place, in this particular order, solder it all together, and you've got a synthesizer that sounds like all the other kits that you've, that have been sold. Whereas this actually lets you get really inventive. You want a synthesizer that does a particular thing. We code it, and then here's the hardware that you can use to control that thing and make it your very own.
I got quite excited when I seen it at first, because I thought it was that thing that you was on about, where you could just drop like a potentiometer wherever you wanted and a switch, because that circuit board kind of looked like that. It was all laid out there ready, but you've got to solder everything on and but you have got a bit of a choice. It's up to you how you do it.
I got this, it just reminded me, I got this from Paul Soulsby of Soulsby Synths, and it's a drinks mat, but it also has all these things on it, and you can actually test. It's like a tester, it's like a chip tester and stuff on there.
Oh wow!
It's very clever.
That's really good marketing, isn't it?
Alcohol and chip testing, not good bedfellows.
I don't use it as a drinks mat, although that's exactly what it is, because it's got. I think you can't really see it. The holes are all there, and you can just put stuff in.
So it's not just printed on; it is actual real.
It's dead clever, and he's just good man, Paul. Soulsby synthesizers, go check them out. They're very, very good. So I think that's an interesting thing, because I think there's going to be some clever people that will program a synth that's like really cool and come up with their own control surface and use this kit to then build and develop that and sell those on as completed built synthesizers. A little bit like, as Synth Addict says in the chat room, Korg Little Bits. which I kind of remember, but I didn't really kind of get into it. But
Yeah.
they were kind of a cool little thing at the time, weren't they?
That was more like snap together. That's my level.
Yeah.
That. I don't think
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
up to all this like soldering bits on and stuff.
Yeah. Good grief, this is good. Golden Drak. Does that mean Golden Dragon, I think, in Belgium?
Give him another
Strong.
half an hour, be singing pub songs.
We're losing him. We're losing him.
No, I'm still here. This is just... Look, this is the most fun I've had on my birthday today.
Oh,
Literally. So I had to work today. There. That wasn't me. Who was that? That was you. That was you
Wrong
and your
end.
sound effects. Yeah. No, I've had to work on my birthday, which I don't normally do because I usually take the week off that contains my birthday, because my birthday is on a Friday. I thought, that kind of puts me a bit too early in the calendar. So I'm off now for 2 weeks. Hence, you got to wait till I go like this, cock a leg.
dear me.
Oh, Ben's discovered sound effects.
I can't hear them. I've got it all set up wrong. I'm just presuming that they're coming out.
Oh, dear. So he hasn't heard this
Well,
one.
we heard that one come out.
Oh, I can hear yours. Yeah,
Oh,
I
right,
can hear
okay.
yours. I just can't hear me out.
Oh dear.
Anyway, depressing, some of them.
I think I've probably just given a few people a heart attack in the chat room. Sass always likes me playing this one, because apparently the bell's quite loud for him. Anyway, yes, that's when I tell a joke. That's normally what you get. Anyway,
It's about 4 hours of my show, isn't it?
No, not at all. It's much more entertaining than that. I called them Synthux Academy, but I noticed in the video it's kind of Synth UX Academy. Whatever. The website is synthux.academy. And go and check out the Simple synthesizer, because it looks incredibly good. Yeah, be interesting to see how that one pans out in the future. Okay, here's something we haven't had before. Oh, thank you, Stylab Music. Just checking the horn. Thank you. Just put that up on there. 10 Canadian dollars. What's that in real money? I don't know. I don't know what the exchange rate is. I know they're quite awful at the moment. But that's very generous of you, and thank you very much. Hugely appreciated.
50,000 British pounds, that is.
Oh, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Fantastic. It's like when
Be able to fill up the Mustang.
What was that thing I saw the other day? Person wins 129 million on a Euro Million lottery. Says he's going out to do a week's grocery shopping, pay his lecky bill. He might have some left over to put some fuel in the car. It's kind of how things are.
Far off, isn't it?
I filled my car up with diesel the other day. I only had about I was just about to touch the red line, so it was essentially a whole tank, and it was 120 quid. That's just so depressing. So
Yeah.
depressing.
Well, I think mine was about that anyway, but like I haven't filled
On
it
the
up
van.
since the price. Yeah, the prices have gone up.
Yeah.
Well, every time I
that's
go to we take the Mustang and get it filled up, and then we drive it back, and then we've got to take it back to the station to.
I was to say, when you go and fill up, the chairman of BP comes out and shakes you by the hand, doesn't he?
Yeah, and we have to take a Securicorp van with us.
Wow.
The value of your car triples on a full tank.
Oh yeah.
Dear, scary stuff. Anyway, Stylab Music, we don't mean to make light of your donation. It is hugely appreciated. Thank you very much indeed.
Absolutely.
And keep watching the show. There we go. Oh, let's give him a cheer.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, give him some of that. This one goes on for a bit. Or I can just stop it. Thank you very much indeed. Right, let's talk about something that isn't a piece of music technology. However, is something you will go out and buy. I'm going to tell you, you will. Oh, thank you, Andrew. I will. No, I can't use PSN money to buy beer. You will buy this anyway. This is a new book, all about the legend that is Dr. Bob Moog. And it's available to pre-order through the Bob Moog Foundation store, which is bobmoogfoundation.com. You can find the links there. It's a new biography by Albert Glinsky, with a foreword by none other than Francis Ford Coppola. This is all about Bob, and the author did 12 years 12 years of research on this book. And of course had access to the fantastic archive over at the Bob Moog Foundation. You could buy a first edition copy hardback, which I believe I can't remember if it said it was signed or not, but it's $39.95 US. There's also a limited edition of 100 where you get an exclusive poster of Bob Moog and a framed postcard. That's $139.95. Then there's also a limited edition of 50 where you get the books individually hand numbered and inscribed by Michelle, friend of the show, and executive director, of course, of the Bob Moog Foundation. There's also the posters and the prints and the personalised thank you note from the BMF in appreciation of your support. And of course, profits from the sale of this book all go to fund the foundation itself. A fantastic book. I can't wait to read that. A proper authoritative document on the life of the grandfather of synthesizers as we know them. I don't think I'm over-egging that in any shape or form.
No, I think that's an essential purchase. That and it's just the godfather of all electronic music, really. And I suppose like his contributions go back to the Bob Moog Foundation as well. So it's a no-brainer. You've got to have that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
A nice hardback book as well. It's
I'd actually one day like to
collector's thing.
do a show where we talk about synthesizer books.
I've only got one.
Just really?
I think so. Yeah.
What one have you got? What's your favourite synth book? What's the book that you actually own?
It's a programming book.
Okay. It's not the cookbook, is it?
Yeah, it's the cookbook, synthesizer cookbook.
That's a good book. That's a good book.
I've got that. That's the only one I've got, I think.
I've got one. I've got some books from the 80s, like some 80s synthesizer books, which are quite cool because you look back at them, you get all nostalgic, and then you think, look where we were then and what we were getting all moist about the gusset for in 1984 or whatever it was, and look where we are now. And it's just like, where have we gone? I got this one today.
Yeah,
Thomas Dolby's The Speed of Sound, which I'm really looking forward to going through. I know I'm late to the game, everyone, and I really should have got this one because he's a local lad. But yeah, that was my birthday present to myself, along with a bottle of grappa.
You've got the audio book of that, haven't you?
Yeah.
Ken?
Yeah.
Is he narrating it, or is it some other fella?
Yeah, I think it's him. Yeah. If memory serves. Yeah.
I could listen to him forever. I saw him play at the Union Chapel in Islington, North London. Do you see how I dropped into the accent?
North London.
North London.
Down south.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not right at all.
And he did. He played this gig where the first half of the gig was him and his original band from the early 80s. So the late great Matthew Seligman on bass, and the guy, is it Jeff? I forget his name, on trombone. Who did the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It was convincing, that wasn't it? We'll get a copyright strike for that. And so basically, the first half of the show was him and his original band relearning the songs. And then the second half of the show was them playing the songs. And it was brilliant. And Dolby is an incredible raconteur and storyteller, and I could listen to him for ages.
Oh, that golden age of wireless. That's what it was called, wasn't it? That album, when that came out, I had that on vinyl. It just ended up like a series of like rubber rings. It was worn through. Like I played it that much. I've actually still got it on vinyl. Actually, yeah.
I had it on cassette, and then that got lost, and I rebought it when they brought out the like the special editions of it, which got some extra bits and things. It's just incredible stuff. And really, if you ever want to listen to like synthesizer music and kind of know what it's all about, listen to Thomas Dolby. But anyway, we're talking about Thomas Dolby, then we should be talking about Bob Moog and that book. So no, it's me. I did that. I'm sorry.
I think there's 3 donations gone through.
Yes, I've got them. Don't worry, I've captured them.
Oh, you
I've
have? Good
captured
man.
them.
Good man.
Yeah,
Good.
they're all
I'm
captured.
just wondering how much you drunk.
No, I'm still no. Don't do that. Andrew Brooks says one of our submarines, which is a brilliant song. I tell you what, one of my favourites of his. I know we're supposed to be talking about Bob Moog's book. Let's just get the Bob Moog book thing out of the way. So if you want to pre-order Switched On, which is a biography of Bob Moog by Albert Glinsky, go to the Bob Moog Foundation.myshopify.com. The link is in the chat because Sasquatch has put it there. It'll also be down below after the show. And please go and order that book. It's a hardback, so it's a little bit more expensive than the paperback, but I'm sure one will come eventually. And I'm sure there'll be an audiobook at some point. So please do support the BMF and Michelle, because the work that she and the team and the board all do there is vital and important, and we must support it. And so there you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thomas Dolby. Screen Kiss is literally one of my favourite, because not only is it like it's that Syrah Fairlight sound all the way through, but it's this amazing bass by Matt Seligman, which is a fretless bass, and it's just gorgeous. And it's the lyrics, and it's everything about that song. It's one of the most perfect songs, because every element is just brilliant in every single way, and it's really kind of evocative and emotional. It's just the most brilliant thing. Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. Thank you.
He's a great artist. And the was it? I can't remember how many's in the band, but he's kind of like the secret member of Prefab Sprout as well, isn't he?
Oh well, yeah, he
His
produced it. He produced all their big stuff.
Work.
But he played. You know the opening to "Waiting for a Girl" by Foreigner. That kind of.
Yeah,
that's Thomas Dolby.
Is it?
Yeah. He's all over Duck Rock by Malcolm McLaren. He played keyboards for David Bowie at Live Aid.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I mean, he started the company that gave us polyphonic ringtones on our mobile phone. That was him.
Well, you can't have everything, like, you know. That was a pile of shite. That, like.
Well, look at it set him up for life. I mean, he literally can do anything he wants now. The licensing. That's the trick, you see, kids. Don't invent something and try to sell it. Invent it and license it.
Yeah.
And then, get people that want to buy it, buy your licensing, and that's it.
Is it true that he doesn't have any, doesn't use any white noise on any of his songs?
I don't know.
Because apparently every time he walked into the studio, he couldn't hear it anymore. It's a slow burner. You'll get there.
Oh no!
No, Spearsy told me that. I washed my hands of it.
Hang on. No, sorry. I'm going to have to watch this one back and try and get that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Joni Mitchell's Dog Eat Dog. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. The guy's a legend, an absolute legend.
As the book will sustain.
Yes. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably get that on audiobook, because my eyes aren't good enough for them reading word things anymore.
I'm terrible, really terrible for buying books, then putting them on the bookshelf and never reading them. I don't know why that is, because I love reading a good non-fiction book. I've bored of fiction stuff. I now like reading factual stuff. I like learning.
I prefer things like that. I think the last physical book I read was I read the Steve Jobs book, and then I read the Steve Wozniak book straight after it.
Oh right,
and it was quite good. But then I went to audiobooks because I thought it's too hard. I'm too lazy for this.
Yeah, I got a Audible subscription, and I got a couple of things on there, but I really ought to get back into reading. I've got a bookcase, literally. It's where I sit in my front lounge. I've got a bookcase, and it's full of music books about, I've got Bruce Dickinson's autobiography. I've got the Steve Jobs one in there as well. I've got Paul McCartney's one. I've got loads of books by Peter Hook and Simon Reynolds, music writers like him, and Mick Middles, and half of them I've not read. And it's awful, because I see a book in, you walk into, not that I can do it anymore because they've shut around here, but HMV, they always have some good deals on books, and I just, I love that. You buy it and you put it on the bookshelf and you just never read.
Yeah, I've got a few of them.
Yeah, I need to go on some long journeys with some audiobooks. I think that's what I need to do.
Sass is saying this is turning into more like one of my shows.
I know, yeah. Let's get back onto synthesizers.
All right then.
Can I just point out to Sass that no, this has got far more professionalism to it, and
Really?
it's
The
got
host
twice
is half drunk.
and it's got 4 times as many people watching this.
Ah.
I wouldn't say 4 times, but all right then. Let's talk about synthesizers and stuff. But before we do, I must acknowledge our donators in the chat.
Yes.
We've just had 10 chuffs from Wagyu. Thank you. 10 of those from Wagyu. We've had $9.99 from David Serchek.
Oh.
And we had 20 quid from Mr. Andrew Longhurst. Oh wow, we are really, honestly, we are scraping the bottom here.
Oh, he was so poised over that button.
Oh dear. Give him a new toy, honestly.
Oh, mate.
Yes,
I wish I could hear it. I'll have to watch it on catch up so I can laugh at me.
Oh, dude. No, you're right. It is turned into my show.
Yeah.
okay, let's bring it back. It's like, you know, but it's like when you've had a few too many to drink, you try to be sober, you actually end up behaving more drunk.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
not
can
gonna
do this on coffee.
Yeah. Me and Kent are sober. I don't know why it's descended into total chaos.
Because we're just mental.
Indeed. Okay, let's talk about synthesizers.
Yeah, go for it.
Synthesizers.
I haven't seen him in the chat. However, I hope he does watch this because we mentioned him at the top of the show. Brad from ISLA Instruments wants a Pro Synth Network t-shirt, which we will sort something out for you, Brad. As I said, in exchange for one of these or 3 of these. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a fair exchange, really.
I think so. I mean, especially a gold Pro Synth Network shirt. I mean, there's literally only one in existence. That's priceless. That's
well, yeah.
Well,
if
until you make another one.
Yeah, well, okay. kind of thing.
We could just make as many as we want.
Yeah,
they're all priceless.
Brad's been a bit of a git. Okay, I don't like Brad at the moment because Brad stopped making the S2400, and for a brief moment I thought, oh well, at least that's one less thing for me to lust after because I can't get one. They're not being made temporarily because of the component shortage. Right. However, he's only gone and sourced 500 of the components that he was missing, the microprocessor that does all the funky stuff. And now you can pre-order one of 500 of the second run, or next run, should I say, of the S2400, which if you go and watch any of the videos on that thing, it's just an incredible machine.
It is.
I desperately want one, but I can't. You know, it's just pre-order it now. You get it for $250 off. It's not, you know, that's not to be sniffed at. Let's be honest. 1,500, and the first 100 pre-orders will also get the massive, you know, super strong flight case for it, a hard case thing that there's normally about $200. So you got until the end of August for this this price drop pre-order. Get in there if you can. I wish, honestly, Brad, I wish I could send you $1,500 right now. What's that about? I don't know what the exchange rate is. It's crap at the moment, isn't it? It's almost 1 for 1.
10 chuffs.
10 chuffs. Oh, yeah. There you go, Brad. I'll give you 10 chuffs and a Pro Synth Network t-shirt.
And a bag of bolt scratching.
Yeah, but the thing is, as
reviews,
as Wagyu says Rob needs a Hydrasynth. Yeah, I want a Hydrasynth. I know I can get one, Kent. So thank you. I want an S2400. I want an OB-X8. I want a Prophet 10. I want a third wave. And I've got a TX816 that I have agreed to buy. That's the one thing that I've got to kind of say, yeah, that's where my money's got to go, because I've actually kind of shook virtual hands on that thing, and that might be here sooner than you think. So yeah, I really want one. Every time I watch Alex Ball's videos, because Alex has done the whole video manual on this thing, it's just like the lust is pouring.
It's a cracking piece of kit.
It is,
definitely.
And it was a bit of a disappointment and a little bit sad when Brad announced that they couldn't get the components, and so they had to kind of like just put a halt. Oh, thank you, Matt, for reminding me. I do have to pick up a DX7 from you, because I did say I would. But he's now literally 2 years after he ordered these parts, they've turned up, and so now he can do a 500 unit run, which is brilliant, because that gets money into his business and he can do more things. But of course, the other thing that Brad has done is gone and cleared out a studio full of synthesizers, and is now repairing, selling, and doing all that kind of stuff. So he doesn't rest on his laurels, does Brad. But yeah, another S2400. You guys, I know, Ben, you just said you fancy one.
Yeah, I can't really decide whether I'd like the Dave Rossum one or that, because all the extra features in the ISLA.
Yeah.
Is it ISLA Instruments? Yeah.
I always say Isla.
ISLA Instruments version has got so many more options with it. It's a tough one, but I think I'd rather have the added options, to be honest. The enhanced feature set.
The Rossum one, wasn't that about 6.5, 7 grand?
Oh yeah,
Wasn't
that's
cheap.
another reason why I don't want that one then.
Yeah. I want one. I would just have to murder. I'd have to murder you and sell your kidneys.
Yeah, that's fine by me, as long as you.
Oh, okay.
I prefer a live host.
The greater good. Yeah.
How could you tell? Yeah. So there is that. Yeah. I really, really want one. I really do. That's all I can say about that, really.
I'm sure you could. You could streamline your setup there and offload some stuff.
Sorry, what? Offload? What's that?
That's what I do.
I am not familiar with this concept of offloading.
Yeah. I don't like doing it myself. Everything I've ever sold, I regret selling, but.
Well, when you've got 3 Jupiter 8s in your toilet and a T8 in your front room with a GS1, you don't buy any more stuff.
No, this is true.
There isn't a flat surface in the whole bloody house.
Yeah.
I've got nowhere to put it if I did get it.
Well, no, I mean, I've got a DX1 down in the room downstairs. And
thank you for taking that.
You're welcome. But I'm not allowed to put anything anywhere else. So, yeah, it was... As X101 says in the chat, my kidneys are literally after this are probably only worth about 20 quid. They're going to come in. That and my liver are getting a kick in tonight, I tell you. And I haven't even started.
That's why you want pens, worth more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I've actually made a decision. I've almost made a decision to fob off, should I say? Or, no, I'll phrase it like Kent does. How would you like this on an extended loan, son? I'm going to let my son have my Alesis Fusion. I think he'd probably appreciate if he can get his head around that. He can get his head around anything for a start. He's about to start a music technology course at A level, and it's got modelling, physical modelling. It's got FM, it's got VA, it's got sampling, and it's got the most awful GUI known to man. So if he can get his head around that, he should pass that with flying colours.
Hasn't it got hard disk recording on it?
Got a hard disk in there as well.
Yeah.
You've never tried an ES7 then?
No, I haven't actually. To
My
be honest.
God, yeah, that's 2-inch display. There you go.
Yeah, well,
Everything you need.
that's one thing with the Fusion is it has got a slightly larger display, but honestly, the user interface is just However, that said, it sounds brilliant. The VA on it's the same as the Ion 6-voice virtual analog. It's a really powerful VA on there.
Yeah.
And the FM's not bad, but it doesn't kind of correspond with any other form of FM that I'm familiar with. And the physical modeling's a little bit on the weak side, but on the other side, the sampling is very good. So, and it has 8-track digital audio recording as well as MIDI. So you have 8 tracks of digital audio and your MIDI sequence are all synchronized.
Wow.
It's not bad. It's not a bad little thing. But yeah, I think because that sits on the bottom, I think I'm going to shuffle things, and that'll make one thing room for one. But I've got synths on the floor that I need to get rid of. I might have to sell an Emax. Don't really want to do that. Anyway, I realise I'm chuntering on here. Let's move on back to our music technology. ISLA Instruments S2400. Back available. Limited run of 500 units. Get it now. $1,499. That price is valid until the end of August. So you've got a month. Or until all 500 units have been sold. The first 100 pre-orders will get a free hard case worth $200 thrown in for nothing. I think that's enough promotion there. Was that good enough for you, Brad? Can you send us an S2400? And we'll promise I'll send you a T-shirt. I'll pay for the postage myself.
Wow.
I'll send a gold T-shirt. I'll commission it. I'll put something special on the back. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Disclaimer: it's not with gold.
Yes, not real gold, and presenter might be drunk when making that offer. Ben, I'm going to come to you for this one.
What are you coming to me for?
I'm coming to you for the brand new instrument from UVI, because you're a real convert, aren't you now?
I am, yeah.
And I'm still looking for reasons not to do what you did and throw my hat into the ring in terms of the Sonic Pass for a mere €24 a month, or $240 for the year, because it now includes yet another instrument called Mission 6, which is, as you can see, inspired by and sampled from an Alesis Andromeda 6, one of those rare beasties. What did you say there was one going for, Kent, last night?
The 30? One I've just finished restoring has gone up for 3.7.
Wow, a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But an exceptional synthesizer, so I am told.
A lot of synth, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of synth for that money. But you don't have to spend nearly £4,000. You can just spend €49.
Yes.
And get this. So Ben, should we actually tell you what? Let's play a demo first.
Okay.
And then, because you were going to play a demo, but you've kind of had some technical things.
Yeah.
So let's play this demo instead. Oh, I hate it when they do this. You click the button and it then takes you to the YouTube page, and then you've got to click the button again. Here we go. So there you go, nice little feature there for the Ace. Well, it's called Mission 6, and it's based on the Andromeda A6. Ben, you've clearly got it because you have Sonic Pass. Your thoughts, please, sir?
Well, I was going to try and share my screen, but that's not working either.
Isn't it?
It's great. It's really, really good. I haven't got much experience with the Andromeda itself, so I've got not a lot to base it on. Somebody in the group, when we first posted about this, somebody in the group asked, how does it compare to Syntronic? Syntronic 2's Andromeda. Yeah. Now, I've got that. I haven't done like an A-B comparison yet, but I just find that the UVI stuff, I know I bang on about this every week now, but the sampling quality is so good. It's not like the static samples that you might have had on your old CD-ROMs, you know, where you get like two different multi-samples on each key or something, you know. And then it's stretched in some places. It's not actually every individual note sampled. And these are just, they sound better than emulations, software emulations. Okay. They've got like more body and I can hear more going on in the sounds, and you get 400 sounds with this particular one, and it's sample based, so your editing isn't going to be the same as it is on the Andromeda itself. It's not a warts and all recreation of the Andromeda. It's an interface that looks like the Andromeda a bit, that plays Andromeda samples, and you can get some really nice sounds out of it. It's based on a 2-layer design, as a lot of the UVI stuff is. So you've got sample A, sample B, and you can do all the usual filter editing and tuning, envelopes, but it is, you are limited to those samples. But the filters are great on the UVI stuff as well. And like, it keeps flicking over there onto the different screen options that you've got available to you. The sound editing works in like, you can either work on sound 1 or sound 2, sound A or sound B, or both at the same time. So you can there's a third option where you can work on them both at the same time. I really like the system. I'm dead happy with the sound quality. It's a little bit like Kent was saying before, though, how it's like you get lost with the amount of options that you've got available to you. I was trying to share my screen with you because you want to see my Falcon. It's like there's this list of instruments that goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And then when you click on them, each one's got like 400 sounds in it. So you need some organisation beforehand. You need to, I think anyway, the only way that you're really going to be able to get the best out of this is by sitting there and weed out the crap that you're never going to use, favouriting everything else. That's how I do it. And then only browse the favourites, because the sounds that you will never get to fit into anything. There are sounds like that. Probably work fine if you're doing like jungle or trap or whatever, but it's not for me, and I know that I'll never use those sounds. So it'd be nice if there was a way of just like binning. I don't know if you can just go through and delete them. Actually, you might be able to, but
that is one of the things I love UVI for so many reasons. One of which is that their interfaces, whilst they are homages to the instrument that they're sampling or that has inspired that particular thing, they are consistent. So everything is in, they have all the same sort of features, and they're all in roughly the same sort of places. However, they follow the design of the instrument that's being, aped or copied or emulated or whatever it might be.
Oh, you can, that's the friendly interface, isn't it? Like what we can see there is the friendly interface. I was actually incorrect before when I said that you can't do heavy editing in. So if you're using UVI Workstation, you're stuck with this.
Yes.
But if you go into Falcon, you can go behind this interface, and then the options are just terrifying, really. There's that many.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's the great thing about Falcon, is that if you buy any UVI library, you can just get in there and dig and get crazy. I mean, but all of this stuff is like kind of really nice and simple. The thing that I don't like, and it alludes to what you were saying about the patches, is that a lot of the presets are kind of things I wouldn't particularly want to use myself. So you have to kind of maybe dig in, because they're obviously trying to appeal to a wide range of an audience, contemporary music producers.
They've got to, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. You absolutely have to. Now, Kent, you were saying last night, I think, on your show, that you absolutely hated the user interface on the Andromeda because it's just sort of like so confusing or not very visually friendly.
No, basically it's a very busy looking interface, and you can lose yourself. What I hate about the interface is it doesn't matter how well you look after them, those parts start to get jittery.
Right.
And you're trying to set a control and you're hitting everything between 1 and 100 except the number you're trying to get. Or it'll flip from editing pages and stuff like that, and it just go all over the place. And of course there's sealed parts, and it's just a nightmare of trying to get switch cleaner down the sides after you've stripped it all down. So I welcome the software version. That's, unless it's very authentic and it starts jittering on the knobs, for no apparent reason after about 6 minutes. So, because I'd completely forgotten about this, I've just downloading it. in my favourite app, Portal, which is it should be retitled to the one-stop just take my bloody money shop, because once you've got your Sonic Pass, and it's like, oh my god, yes, and just give me. Yeah, because all the stuff is, I've even downloaded stuff and go, I'll never use that, but I'm downloading it because I'm entitled to.
And they're not small.
No.
This is 12 gig.
Yeah, I noticed by the way it was coming down. I'm going, this isn't 100 meg, is it? Yeah. So it's like, so. But yeah, I welcome the Alesis A6 software. Brill.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
I highly recommend everybody should get rid of their A6s and buy this.
There you go. You've heard it from the man himself.
So I don't have to work on the buggers anymore.
But I'm so tempted to get the Sonic Pass. Because in terms of bang for buck, there's nothing that compares.
It's true. It's just this thing about renting.
Yeah,
that kind of renting aspect to it.
I think that's where Roland's got it right, isn't it? Because like you get to keep software the longer that you're with it. I could pay this for years and then walk away with absolutely nothing, which is a bit worrying, but.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Actually, I might even do this where I just go for the subscription, the Roland Cloud, and all that sort of thing. I mean, I bought all the what was the one I bought? As everything, the Arturia one.
Oh, the V collection. Yeah,
yeah, but I'd spaced it over 3 months, so she didn't know.
Yeah. That's how I did it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think she noticed me getting it either.
No. I just don't let her near the iPad anymore. I hide it. So Sonic Pass, and then do Roland Cloud as well, and then go, okay, now I've got more synthesizers than I could possibly know what to do with. I don't have to go looking at other things and going, oh, should I buy that? Because I can go, no, I already own lots of stuff. Stop.
Yeah.
So unless they want to send it to me free.
I mean, you get such a selection with that Sonic Pass that you've got to be able to find something for everything there.
Oh yeah.
Like there's got to be something there that'll do the job.
Well, it was my guru Richard Hilton that put me onto. He actually video called me and said, "You got to get Falcon."
Yeah.
Okay, because it was about 2:00 in the morning. I thought, yeah, okay, I'll get it now. But there you go. I'll look at it in the morning. Right, and he was right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Falcon and Omnisphere.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Got me on.
I'd go as far as to
OBE.
say that Falcon and Sonic Pass probably is maybe a better choice than Omnisphere.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Controversial?
because the thing about Omnisphere is, as great an instrument as it is, you like your instruments to be, what's the word? Dusted every now and again by the company that makes them, and there's not a lot has happened with Omnisphere in years now.
True.
And they go, come on, up and update a little, give it a spruce. I don't know, put tinsel across the top, something.
And it's one of
Don't
those
walk
things
away from it.
that, like, so many people have Omnisphere that you could be at the risk of, a little bit of Me Too going on there.
So, sometimes, I mean, my main problem with Omnisphere is that there's a lot of stuff in there that is for soundtrack composition and not your general day-to-day synthesis. It's all things like this is a jockstrap played with a bottle top. It's like, right, okay, you play a twang. It's like, I can't use that for anything. It's interesting, but I can't use it for anything.
And you got the sub patch, which go, but now the jockstrap is on fire.
Yeah. Jockstrap covered in jelly. They've got.
I don't know. I didn't get that close.
They've got like banjo hit with chop string. Banjo hit with shoe. There's a lot of these options where it's still just a banjo being hit by something different. And that's my main problem with it. Falcon's like, Falcon's just full of synth stuff, really.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, because you know what my memory has been like lately, but I think the Omnisphere still doesn't have MPE support in it. Now, it can support MPE, but there's a rigmarole you've got to go through to set it all up. You've basically got to set an instrument up for each MIDI channel and stuff like that. It's like, oh, God, do you know what? I won't bother. So if they could have it in MPE straight out the box kind of update for it, that would be pretty
Falcon
good.
supports MPE, doesn't it?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Right, with
MPE
the,
is need as much as
Hydra.
possible that we can
Yeah.
get our hands on. Yeah.
See, I remember before Falcon was a thing, I was using Mac 5.3, which is essentially what Falcon is, because there was Mac 5.3 was UVI making a thing for Motu, and then that whole thing, they still, I mean, I know the guy that owns UVI, and he wouldn't tell me exactly what happened there. I wasn't going to press him, but there was a parting of ways, and Mac 5.3 then evolved into Falcon. So if you came from Mac 5.3 to Falcon, it was just like, you know, I mean, the same thing, but you can just do more things, and it just kind of snuck in under the radar and has become this. Yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible platform that has really. Has got so much going for it. Like you say, you know, you can do MPE on it, and you've got all these incredible libraries, and not only is it sample library based, or all these, but it's got all of the synthesis engines in there as well. Have you tried any of the Falcon preset packs?
Yeah,
which are just pure Falcon,
Yeah.
as a synthesizer, not a sample player.
Yeah,
Incredible stuff.
Yeah,
and it
it is
uses
good.
a kind of a hierarchy as well that I'm very used to, which is the Akai kind of sample hierarchy of, you know, sample, program, key groups, all that kind of. It just makes so much sense, which segues nicely. Oh, did you see how I did that?
Yeah,
I might be 3 sheets to the wind, but I can still do a damn good segue into something that is going to interest anyone. Two of us in this particular show, especially, that use Akai S5000 and S6000 samplers, because a gentleman in France, I presume it's a gentleman in France. Maybe that's rather presumptuous of me.
A person, in France.
An individual in France has come up with a program called S56 SIS. Doesn't roll off the tongue when you say that, let alone. But so for anybody that remembers, back in the day, you take yourself back to the sort of like 1999, 2000 era, and Akai was still top of the tree in terms of hardware samplers. I'm sorry, Andrew, I know you're a big EMU guy, but they were. Akai were king of the hardware samplers. And the S5000, 6000 came out to a massive critical acclaim because they were some of the first to use just standard PC formatting of hard drives and WAV files, and it became super compatible. You could move things around. And one of the things that the S5000 and 6000 could have added to it was a USB card, which allowed you to connect it to your host computer, and you could run a program called Axis, AK.sys, Axis, and it essentially replicated the whole S5-6000 experience on your computer screen, and you could interact with the sampler, do every single function that you could on the hardware, but from a software control surface. But also it allowed you to move files from your computer to the sampler and in the other direction as well, and so on and so forth. But of course, what happened was, within a couple of years, software samplers became the thing. Contact became one of the most pirated pieces of software ever, and everyone was going for that kind of thing. And it was all, the samplers were going back into the computers. So these machines lingered for a little while, but eventually they stopped being developed, they stopped being produced, and the software stopped as well. And so if you, like myself and Ben, have got an S6000 or a 5000, once your computer went from 32 to 64 bits, that was it. you couldn't use the software. But now somebody has come up with a piece of software that you can use on a modern computer, but you do have to have the USB card installed. And if you haven't got one of those, they are a little bit thin on the ground, shall we say. But you do have to have one. But it means that you can actually get access back to these samplers from your computer screen without having to go through the rigmarole of setting up virtual machines or maybe having a separate computer to do that, which is, I do kind of both of those. I have a VM and an old Windows XP laptop. But this will breathe some new life, I think. I don't know about you, Ben. I mean, you have the S6000 in the studio. You don't take it out on the road or anything. So, do you still use it? And is this gonna help you? Or
I've not used it for a short while. You know, I've probably not used it for 12 months or something, to be honest. But it's my second one. I did have another one, and I used to use Access on a regular basis. You know.
Yeah.
When I had a Mac G5, it worked no problem then. But I was pushing me, the little control unit that clips off the front. I was pushing that back, and it got stuck underneath my iMac, and it put a big scratch down the screen. So that'd do my head in. So I sold that one. I thought, I'll just sell this one and buy another one that hasn't got a scratch on it. So I sold that one. Bought another one, and I thought, I'm laughing here. There you are, no scratch. And then I realised it didn't have a USB card in it. So I've actually got one without a USB in it now.
Right.
It's got, I think it's got like nearly every other option that could have been put into it, but no USB card. So if I'm going to take advantage of this wonderful software, I'm going to have to find a USB card from somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's only €9. That's another great thing, and it works. Currently works on Windows 7 and 10, both 32 and 64, and they are considering doing a Mac OS and Linux versions if there's enough demand for it. So I'm gonna hang tight on this one because I run Parallels on my Mac, which is that virtualization software, and the way that Parallels integrates into Mac OS is brilliant because you can basically run a Windows program and it behaves like it's a native Mac OS program. It's dead clever. And so I've got Access doing that. So every time I double click on that, I'll get Access Cup on my Mac screen and I can then interact with it. The thing is, the detachable panel of the S6000 is so good, and if you stick a 10-meter cable on it, you can just have it on your desk. You don't really necessarily need the computer interaction.
Yeah.
The only thing that with Access that I really liked was the programming screen was like a proper synthesizer. So you had everything. So it wasn't like the screen on the actual system. It was a proper, graphic representation of how the synthesis in the S6000 worked. I love my S6000. I will never sell it for two reasons. A, it's the most stable hardware sample I've got, and I've got a 64 gig hard drive in there, or SCSI to SD drive, which I can access as a folder on my Mac desktop at any time, whether the machine is on or off, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's got tons and tons and tons of amazing sounds on there. But also, my wife bought it for me. So I'm kind of like, it's why I married her, basically.
Yeah.
Because we'd only been dating about, 6 months.
Yeah.
And she came into a bunch of money, which was a bit messy. No, she came into a bunch of money from yeah, I know, all right. She got some money from a payout, a medical negligence payout, and she said, "What do you want?" And I was chanting in my arm, said, "Akai S6000." She goes, "What's that?" I said, "It's a sampler. How much does it cost?" 2,000. And she says, "Okay." And so we went into the shop, and I specified. I said, "I want an S6000. I want every optional card in there. I want an external CD writer, SCSI CD writer.
Yeah.
I want a flight case for it. All of this stuff. The only thing I didn't have, because I should have done, because it was basically on offer. Everything was on the table. I could have had anything. I didn't specify the ADAT card. That's the only thing I didn't specify. I've got everything else is in. It says max. You cannot get a more powerful S6000 unless you've got one with the ADAT card as well. And it still works to this day.
Yeah.
And I still fire it up, and it's the most bulletproof, solid hardware sampler I've ever used. And it's so easy to use.
Amazingly easy to use. I mean, it kind of still trumps the computer interface sometimes with its simplicity.
Yeah.
You know, it's dead easy to set sample zones and layers and multis. We're setting up a multis there. Nothing to it at all.
Exactly. It's got the big old screen on it. This is the S5000. So the difference between the S5000 and the S6000 is essentially the S6000 has a detachable screen. You've got two front drive bays on the S6000, and the S5000 didn't come with the additional voices and stuff as standard, as far as I recall. But you could take an S5000 and make it an S6000, albeit without the detachable front panel. So they're essentially the same sort of thing. And you can do, the screen on this is so good, you don't need a computer. It's almost like, there you go. Mine's over here. I can't sort of reach it at the moment. But yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful panel. You just unbolt it, stick a long cable on it, and then you put it anywhere you like.
And look at the
These things were powering gigs. Pet Shop Boys had 3 of them during that period of time. They had 3 of them doing basically the entire show. Robbie Williams, his band, had 2, and the drummer had like a music stand, a notation music stand, and he had 2 of those panels, and he would alternate between one and the other to call up the various backing tracks for the gig. Yeah. So if you ever watched Robbie Williams live at Nebworth, which he was playing to 125,000 people, that entire show was being run off an S6000, and he would just alternate between one and the other just for rapidity. Here's a story, right? I'm gonna tell you a story. Okay. So Robbie Williams' musical director, I forget his name now, saw the potential for this sampler. He said, I want to use backing tracks, and they're all done on the sampler. Thank you very much. I sing the Body Electric. So he approached Akai in the UK and said, look, can you do an addition to the operating system that gives us a set list? So basically we can, because on the standard S5 and 6000, you can create your samples and your multis, and you can arrange your multis into, and you can just call them up just by the dial and everything. But he said, we want a set list. So we want to put all the songs in, and then when we choose, I don't know, Let Me Entertain You, for example, we choose that and press the button, and it loads up all the samples, all the programs, all the multis, and the MIDI file, because that's the other thing with the 5 and the 6000, it's got a MIDI file player in there as well.
Yeah.
Everything. So we just choose the song, press the button, everything loads itself into the system, and we press play. And that's what we want. So we want this set list function. So this was proposed to Akai in the UK. Of course, they had to go to Japan to get the all clear. So as you can imagine, there's a slight language barrier going on there. And the guys from Akai UK, I swear I've had this firsthand. The guys from Akai UK went to Akai Japan and said, we would like these features developed into the software because our client, Mr. Robbie Williams, wants them. A couple of weeks later, they get an email back from Japan saying, why does the famous Oscar-winning actor Robin Williams want this in an Akai? They thought it was Robin Williams, not Robbie Williams. They didn't get it. Yeah, Nanu. Anyway, long story short-ish, that happened, and that's why you have the setlist feature in the S568. You can thank Robbie Williams for that.
Wow.
There you go.
It's a little bit like main stage before its day, wasn't it?
Yes, it absolutely was. Yeah. And if you watch the Live at Nebworth video, DVD, whatever format you might have it on, there are clips when there's a camera sort of like, if I'm the drummer, the camera's just over there sort of looking over me, and you can see him selecting a song on the S6000 whilst he's receiving, Robbie's at the front receiving applause for the last number, and they're just ready to go, and that's all your strings, everything is there. And the drummer's just controlling it all, and the Akais are sitting understage and just doing their thing.
And the MIDI tracks could be in a smaller setup. The MIDI tracks could be doing all your lighting and all your program changes for the live instrumentation. Your guitar pedals and everything could all be getting done.
Because what you got to remember, this is early 2000s. I mean, laptops back then, people weren't trusting laptops on stage.
No,
you couldn't trust a laptop on stage. This was it, and there was your answer.
Wow.
And there are people that are still using these things today. Professional people are still using Akais today because it is just solid. It does whatever you want it to do, and it doesn't complain. It's just a brilliant machine.
Tons of outputs on these as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's like,
you know what I did though? 6000, yeah.
I've got. I don't know if they all have, but I've got like 2 sets of MIDI on the back of mine, and I took it apart for some reason. The whole thing apart. Oh, it was when I was fitting that. The SD card reader into the front. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I took it all apart, put it back together, and MIDI ports A don't work anymore. So I have to alter everything to be MIDI port B.
Right.
It's a bit too much hassle. That's why I haven't used it so much. I mean,
some people are breaking. If you go on eBay, you'll find some people breaking, S5000s, S6000 for parts. Yeah. But those USB cards still fetch a few £100.
Yeah,
which is insane because it's USB 1. I mean, it's not really, and it's only useful up until now. It was only useful if you had a 32-bit computer running a 32-bit OS.
Now's the time to buy them before everybody catches on to this coming out.
I swear, if you're in the market for a hardware sampler, you won't find a better one. Honestly, you will not. They're just absolutely bulletproof. Dieter said in the chat room, the Japanese engineers counteracted the feature request with a joke. No, it wasn't a joke. They genuinely believed that they couldn't understand why Robin Williams, Oscar-winning comedian and actor, wanted a setlist feature on an S6000. But there you go. Link for the software. Let me just pop this. SAS, if you... Where are we? I can post links in the chat. I just realised I can do that, can't I? Because I'm a mod. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's s56sys.free.fr. It's a French developer. We won't hold that against it. And there you go. It's €9 for the license. That's all you need.
It's fantastic.
Give it a go. Yeah, I might. Just
Has it got all the features of Axis on it, or is it?
So according to this, you could duplicate your sample screen, which is what Axis could do as well. And again, you could do that whether your sampler is off or on. Allows you to fully remotely control the front panel through USB using your mouse and keyboard. Allows you to transfer WAV files, programs, and multis between your computer and your sampler. So the only thing I can't see in there is like the editing screens that Axis was so good at. Yeah, the actual kind of programming screens. But I imagine that might come. I don't know. The thing is, if you fit a SCSI to SD drive to that thing, and as long as the sampler doesn't need any power going to it whatsoever, I think it's version 6 of the SCSI to SD board they've all got a front USB socket, but version 6 allows you to access the SD card even if the host machine isn't powered on. So basically I've got a USB cable running from I can share my screen here and I'll show you. So my S6000 is not on. It's not even it's plugged in, but it's not even turned on at the mains. So let me share my... Oh, thank you, Andrew. Very nice. Can I do this? Oh, there we go. Entire screen. Maybe it's better if... because then we're going to get a whole bunch of video feedback here. What happens if I do this? Video feedback. Okay, so over here, I've got an icon, and it's a drive, and I double click on that, and that is my Akai S6000 SCSI drive. That's all my content, and the thing's not even plugged in. And if I want to go in there, so I can go into some of the Akai drives, there it is, and I can just double click, and I'm accessing this all. There you go. There's all the files, all the programs. Don't need the machine powered on whatsoever, so I can move things backwards and forwards without the machine being powered on.
It's good, that. Yeah.
But here's the kicker: if that is powered on, so the drive is mounted within the S6000, it's a mounted drive within there, I can still access it from my computer and move things around whilst the machine's going.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
And that's the beauty of the V6 of SCSI to SD, that you can do that.
Right. I think I've got a V6 one. I've just never done that.
They're as rare as rocking horse doo-doo at the moment because, of course, component shortage. But the other thing that I can do is, this might take a few seconds because I'm having to open it up from fresh. But so Axis, I've got an Axis icon on my toolbar, my Mac toolbar, but because it's running in a virtual machine, if I click it, it just has to start up Windows, which only takes a few seconds to do that. And then I can have my Axis front panel, which won't work at the moment because the hardware isn't switched on. That's the one thing you have to be aware of. Did you hear that? Or was that just me? That was just me.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay. Oh, shut up. So yeah, I can have Axis running on my system as as an individual window. That's it telling me that it can't find the sampler. So yeah, I can do that using a modern day 64-bit Mac. Anyway, I'm boring everyone here. I'm going to shut up now. Yeah, so there you go. That's free. No, it's not free. It's s56sys.free.france or fr. €9 if you've got an Akai S5 at 6000. There you go.
Superb.
One last thing that I didn't tell you guys about, because it literally came up about 5 minutes before we went on air, but I thought we should share it because it features the one and only Marcus Ryle, and he is doing, and if anyone can do a comparison video between the new OB-X8 and an original OB-X, it's Marcus Ryle.
Hi, I'm Marcus Ryle, and this is the Oberheim OB-X8. And I'd like to give you a bit of a demo of the sounds in the OB-X8, specifically focusing on the sounds where it's recreating the sounds of the original Oberheim OB-X, which I happen to have right here. The OB-X was manufactured from 1979 to 1981. This particular unit was made in June of 1980, and it came with 32 presets. They were in banks A, B, C, D, and numbered 1 through 8. Those 32 presets were loaded in from a cassette tape with data into the OB-X, and this unit has been calibrated to factory specifications and had those original factory patches loaded into it.
Okay, so here's some demos.
We start out with A1. This was called Brass Ensemble, and it sounds like this.
It's identical.
So you can hear it's using the same 2-pole state variable filter as the original OB-X, which was also the same filter that was in the SEMs, the 4-voice, 2-voice, and 8-voice.
So yeah, if you want to go and watch this comparison video, it's on the Oberheim official YouTube channel, and it's basically, yeah, it's just mind blowing how good they've got this on the OB-X8. I just thought I would put that there.
Yeah, that was exactly the same. That.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Also, can I just say, look at this studio.
Oh no, yeah.
And what he's got in there. So what's that? That's a 4-voice, and that's, what's that one? Ken, is that the XA?
Oh, do you know what? I'm sitting here watching the show. Sorry, where?
With the blue stripes.
The blue. That looks like an OB8.
OB8, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, sitting on a 4-voice.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And then there's 2600s, and there's some Moog, isn't it, there? And, yeah.
Odyssey.
Yeah.
I think when Marcus does a lot of his video interviews, he's sat at this thing, and it's the rear view that's the most impressive one behind him there. But yeah, what a guy, and what a sound, what an instrument that is.
Really need one of those.
Yeah,
that's the thing that's bugging me the most. How am I going to get one of them?
Yeah. Well, so I was, lucky enough to play one at Gearfest a few weeks ago, and it was just honey in my ears. It was just gorgeous. So there you go. If you want to see what an OB-X8s are landing in people's studios as of like the other day.
Chris Stack got one, didn't he? He's got older.
I think that was a friend. I don't think it was his. I think it was a friend of his. But yeah, they're in people's studios now as we speak. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
very
cool.
Very nice. Very very nice. Oh, what was that?
I got
What is that?
That's that. What's it called? Massive. What's it called?
I don't know. I just asked you.
Mission 6.
Oh, that was Mission 6. Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a while because obviously I'm using the PC and it wanted to talk to the iLock.
Of course. Yeah.
So
Nice.
it
Sounds good though, doesn't it?
It does. Well, I think, gents, that's a show.
Ooh, it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Barely
Sounds
scratched
good.
the surface, but
Well, yeah.
Yeah. You'll have to let me know if it sounds like the real thing.
I'm not
'Cause I'm-
recognising any of these patch names so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
But,
do that though, don't they? They disguise the patch names.
Yeah, so I'll find some around the beginning, see if we can find it. Yeah.
That sounds good. Sounds very, very good. So I think that's kind of a show. I think for this week, it's been a nice kind of relaxed and chitty chatty.
It's been nice. I wish I'd have known that you were getting absolutely sozzled. Like I would have had a pint myself,
I wouldn't say I'm absolutely sozzled. I mean, I can still talk. I can still pretty much control the show. But
you sat on a commode there, aren't you? Yeah.
I've got that little beer buzz going on, which is nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it's I've lost it because I don't drink that much beer, which is why it's probably going to my head a little bit.
Yeah.
But I
Can I
used
just
to
point
think
out-
anyway.
Can I just point out?
Yeah.
I have an Akai S6000.
You do?
Yeah, I paid 150 quid for it,
They were going for that some years ago, weren't
but
they?
I
They were
don't
just
know
like,
where it is.
If it's got an ADAT card in it, I'll have that. I'll give you money for that.
Oh, okay.
Because seriously, do you know, it's this thing, isn't it? I think it's a synthesizer user thing that when you turn the Akai S6000 or 5000 on, it gives you a row of. First of all, it tells you what discs are connected, and then it shows you at the bottom of the screen all the options, and if you've got them installed or not. And if you haven't, there's a big X going through them. And it bugs the hell out of me that the ADAT has got an X through it.
Mine's got. I've got an X through a couple of things, but it's pretty well kitted out, like for the time.
Yeah. Well, I think mine's the 128 voice, 64. Oh, I can't remember now. All the numbers are going down my head. 256 meg of RAM. It's basically max. It's got the FX card and it's got all the multiple extra voices and all this kind of stuff. And the only thing when I turn it on, there's an X through the ADAT, and then there's an X through the keyboard because you could plug PS2.
Oh yeah, I've got one for it.
Keyboard. Yeah. I've got one somewhere in the garage. I used to use it because you could type out the program names. That's about the only thing you used it for.
I know. Yeah.
Pointless, but it was there. But it does bug me that I've still got the cross through the ADAT thing because I could probably use that because now I've got the O2R, which has got a whole bunch of ADAT ins. That would be really useful.
It would.
So yeah, Ken,
You could
if you
do all
do
your-
find it, and it's got an ADAT card. Let me know how much you want for that, and I'll have that.
Rabbits.
Cool stuff.
I'll have the USB card. You'll be left with something that you won't be able to do anything with.
Just pick up a spares machine. Yeah. Oh, I also fitted. It's completely pointless, but I did it anyway. I fitted a Noctua F9 fan in the back because the S6000 came with a fan because you could put a hard drive into it, whereas the S5000 you couldn't.
Yeah.
And so the S5000 didn't have a fan, the S6000 did. There's absolutely no point in that fan unless you've got a SCSI hard drive in there.
Oh, right. So can you take that off?
You can take it off, but I put it in there because I just thought, well, yeah, better safe than sorry. It's in a rack.
Yeah, I bought like a quieter fan and I put that in because the fan used to do me head in.
Yeah, it's quite.
I didn't realise you could turn it off.
Because you got the speed adjustment on there, haven't you?
Yeah.
The fan, even on the quiet mode, the factory fan was still a bit too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hard drive you haven't got.
But yeah, exactly. I did have a SCSI. Actually, no. What I did have was an IDE drive with the SCSI adapter that Akai sold bolted onto it, like a daughter board that sat on top. And that's the only thing that's ever broken in my S6000 was the hard drive, which wasn't an Akai genuine part anyway. So. So that's when I thought I'll put the SCSI to SD in and I get loads more space and it's silent and it's cool. And I thought, oh, while I've got it, I'll put the fan in. And then thought, oh, why have I put a fan in? Something that doesn't actually need the fan. But there you go. So it's whisper quiet now. Anyway, that's a show, I think. Who have we got coming up on the show? We got some people coming up, haven't we? Who's on next week? Oh, yes. We had to move some dates around. So next week, because I think some people, nobody's actually mentioned this, but nobody's said, where's Dina? Where's Dina Perlman? You said Dina Perlman would be on the show on the 29th. Well, she's not, obviously. But that's because Dina is a busy lady. So we had to rearrange, but she'll be on next week. Next week, we'll have the lovely, lovely Dina Perlman on the show. Telling us about all things ARP Foundation and many others besides. The week after that, I'm sorry, Ben, I know you're playing a gig, but we've got Mel Wesson on again. So
ask him where my Apex stand is.
I will.
Yeah,
I will. Remind me. I will do
getting
that.
told.
Yeah, the wonderful Mel Wesson on August the 12th, hopefully from his newly refurbished studio. August the 26th. August the 26th.
It's taking
Benj.
effect.
Yeah. Benj is on the show. Ben Edwards will be joining us on the 26th. I cannot wait for that. He's such a brilliant guy. September the 9th, Jem Godfrey, with his new Fairlight, which suffered a bit in transport, but Jem will be joining the show. Jem's an absolute gem, really is. And then September 30th, I think I can say this without fear of it falling through, because I'm fairly convinced it's going to happen. But hopefully September 30th, we'll be joined by Bob Coover from Groove Synthesis, who make the third wave. So Bob's coming on the show. And I can also say that... Well, no, actually, I'm not going to say that. I don't like to... I've almost nailed down somebody I've been wanting to get on the show for a very, very long time, who's a man behind some of the greatest pop music records of the 1980s and some of the greatest productions of the 1990s. So I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to jinx it. But I spoke to him yesterday and he said, "Yeah, give me a date. I'll pick one." So fingers crossed.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I've had a couple of them.
Yeah, well, we're still waiting for him behind you, but we'll get him. We will get him.
Oh yeah,
We will get him.
He owes me.
Yes, I do. What's this that Wagyu said here? I did think it would be Dina singing "Happy Birthday" to Robbie, not Ben playing fart noises. Lovely.
Can you? Yeah. Right. This is dead. This I realise that we're coming to an end now, anyway. But how? You know, if you can't see the keys, right? It's still quite easy to play, isn't it? If you can't see the keys,
down too far.
It's difficult for you to play when I can see the keys.
But if you can't hear it, it's really difficult to play.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I can't play along with Kent now, but like, if there was sound, I would be pretty close to hitting the right notes straight off. But because there's no sound, I can't hit the right notes. I've got no idea where I'm going to be.
Well,
Yeah.
that's big. Yeah.
It's
Makes
like
sense.
if you were a drummer and you couldn't hear what you're playing.
Oh god.
Yeah.
That's what it'd be like,
Yeah.
basically.
I'm a drummer and people don't like what I
Try
hear.
and play something and have the sound going to a recording that you can't hear. They'll come out crap, I bet you.
Nice one, Barbara. It's better to be Stevie Wonder than Beethoven. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you got to think about it. You know, how did Beethoven do that? Because he was tone deaf. Not tone deaf, stone deaf. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, he might be.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, he
clearly
was
wasn't
tone deaf as well, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, jeez.
Yeah, there was no subtlety in his music, was there?
No.
No.
Oh! Check the chat. We've got a bot.
Hey.
Go on. Look at that. We've made it, guys. We've made it.
We've had a bot before.
Oh, we have.
We had a bot on my watch. We got annihilated. Like, it was.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite good.
What are they offering?
Nothing at the moment. A cool anime adult game.
Yeah, that'd be boring.
Yeah. Look at that, honestly.
Right. Well, is that it then?
I think-
just yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
beer's
that's the
run
show.
out.
Yeah, my beer's run out. I need to go. Actually, I'm going to have a
Yeah.
bottle of wine there.
It's your birthday. Go and celebrate.
It's my birthday. And yes, I will. Thank you. And we will see you same time, same place next week with the wonderful Dina Perlman. And yeah, I mean, gentlemen, thank you very much for your company as usual. You've cheered me up on what has been a fairly sort of flat sort of birthday. Because yeah, when you get to this age, it's just like
Come on.
no, but it's there's there's no excitement anymore. You know, it's not like you don't wake up in the morning and go, oh, what have I got? You know, it's
Come
just
on,
like,
Gary Barlow, sing happy birthday to him, for God's sake.
no, don't do that. No, don't do that. There you go. Play happy birthday and fart noises, and I'll be
Can't
impressed.
hear it, can I? That's what brought it to my attention that I can't play when I can't hear.
Oh, dear. Anyway, thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you for all the lovely comments in the chat. I appreciate them all, even if I haven't replied to you all. Thank you. And gentlemen, I will see you same time, same place next week, if not before. That's a show, I think. I'm just filling until I get to the right screen where I can press the go button.
Yeah.
Have a
Rightio.
fantastic weekend.
Yeah.
Take the greatest of care, and we'll see you all soon. Take
Bye.
bye.
Au revoir.
Go. Where did it didn't work?
Jesus.